Okay. All right, guys, the podcast is about to start. We got my boy Kenny. I'm gonna see if he can get his webcam on so you lot can see Kenny. This is why we call him Kenny the Wise, bro, because he's got so much life knowledge, man. And me and him, we talked about doing a podcast every Sunday, man. So why not, bro? And yes, my boy PSN in the building. What's good, my brother? Bro, it's the first time I'm really doing a fucking live podcast on Twitch, but I'm gonna give a quick background for Kenny. I think he's having some mic difficulties. But yeah, bro, listen, man. So basically, Kenny is a fighter, bro. I don't know if he did MMA or boxing, but he used to do it, or he did it back in the day. He's also had a lot of experiences, like in life, like life wise, bro. He's done a lot of things, man. Different type of jobs, etc., etc. Oh, he's saying new mic was fake, and he's gone through so many things, which is like the people who know me and fuck with me, and the whole boxing fighting thing, and also the things with like life and work and struggles, motivation, music. He's actually been in a rock band himself, and he's done a lot. So that's why I thought it was great for you guys to meet my boy Kenny, and he's one of the most like respected people in my Discord server, and he's always giving advice and just anything you need. If you're ever struggling with life or whatever, he'll be glad to help you, man. So yeah, bro. But we just got a message in the no mic chat in my Discord server. He says his new mic is fading bad. Bro, can you put your webcam on? Can we see if your camera works? Yo, I can hear you. I heard a little something.
What's up, my guy?
Yes, you fixed the camera issues.
Oh man, so
Yeah.
many problems right now.
Oh, nah, it's all right, man. The technical issues is normal, man. It's the internet, man.
It's this laptop, like everything on it's basically fresh, so everything I'm doing, like
Yeah.
I don't know what's up with that brand new mic I got, but it was playing one hell of a bop there for like 15 minutes, and I could see you talking,
Uh,
but I couldn't hear nothing.
oh shit, nah. I'm glad you fixed it, man. And I just want to say, it's good to see you, Kenny. It's good that you got your cam on because I wanted to do it more professional, and I've been streaming a lot more consistently on Twitch. So I was like, yeah, even though we did say we're gonna do it on Instagram, I thought, let's try it on Twitch first. You know what I mean? So
Agreed.
yeah, man. So we live right now. I don't know if you have the Twitch open, but you can pull up the Twitch stream. I'll put it in the no mic chat. So I already told a few people I promoted this stream, and I think it's a great time for us to do this podcast, man. Also, it's Christmas, so Merry Happy Christmas, man. And yeah, man. How's everything, bro? How you been, man?
Everything is lovely.
Yeah,
Everybody is alive and well. I'm
yeah,
getting more years after finally beating cancer.
yeah.
Uh,
Congrats, bro.
It's lovely.
Man, that's amazing to hear. I just want to quickly, before we officially start this podcast, it's a bit like just a few technical things because it's my first time doing a live podcast on Twitch, and I think it's looking good so far because I've got my they can see you. They got so they can see you good. I think they can see me. So let me know, chat, if you can see me and Canny, if everything's good. And let me know is the levels all good? Let me know if you guys can hear us well. I don't know. Do you have the stream open on Twitch, Kenny?
When I open it, I get an echo. So what I'm gonna do
Uh,
is I'm
you can
gonna
leave it on
open it
mute.
and then I'm gonna mute it.
Yeah, so then you'll be able to see the chat when people type. Because PSN is also here, man. Shout out to PSN. He's another like combat sports fan, and he's done a bit of like gaming with me on Fight Night. He says, "I got a question for Kenny, considering this is a podcast." Yeah, of course, bro. This is what we're here for, man. Like I said, I gave a short intro for Kenny, and yeah, man, he's always like very helpful, and he's always been very supportive. So and I thought it's a good idea to actually do this podcast, man. Like even if it's something we just do every once in a while, once a week. So yeah, man, go ahead with the questions, guys. But let me quickly read the chat. PSN also said something when I was freestyling when we were waiting for PSN. Yeah, man, there's Kenny in the chat as well. So if you guys want to check him out, click on his Twitch, follow. Hopefully he's got some links. If you want to post some links in the Twitch chat, feel free, man. But real quick, let me just quickly read you really mustn't know me. I'm chilling with my homies. Pull out the 12 gauge and shoot. Hey, bro, we need to go back on the bars, man, in a sec. But let's. Are you all good? I think everything's good now, sound quality wise, and everything sound check. You think we're good to start the podcast, Kenny? Should we
Yeah, I
go
should
ahead?
be good, man.
Yeah. All right.
We got some time.
Yeah, let's do it, man. All right, let's do a quick before we get to the questions and everything. Let's do a quick like because it's their first time seeing you, especially on Twitch, etc. If you want to quickly introduce like yourself and talk about a few things like introduction wise for the people.
All right, my name is on here will be for the sake of everything is Can I Be Me? I've got a YouTube page, Motivated Mechanic, that I'm going to be starting to upload a lot of stuff on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Previous history. Um, the things that you guys would be most concerned about was I was in a rock band for about 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but all of my stuff is kind of before this version of what we would call social media today.
Mm-hmm.
I also did mixed martial arts, but my main bread and butter was dirty boxing. So the up close against the cage type of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
uh, walking through a lot of punches and accepting a lot of hits. So I sound very intelligent for the amount of trauma I've likely had, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, I'm trying to encourage several of you guys to get out here and produce more content. So I can't say that if I'm not
Mm-hmm.
helping to do that. So we're here today to try to start on a path doing that more often.
No, 100%, man. That's that's something I've been really working on. Like, it's like practice what you preach. You know, a lot of people always have things to say, and like all these experts on the internet, especially, they always say like you should be doing this, that. But then I've been going through that a lot, especially with like my new venture, me trying to do music and shit like that, man. People always like are quick to speak, but then when you really look at like the things that they've done or have achieved, always see there is very little to nothing. And then for me, like it's always, I think it's as smart as to be like, if you're taking advice from someone, you should always take advice from someone who's either doing better than you or on their way or doing something, man. Because you can't learn from taking, I'm sure you've heard the quotes, but you can't really learn much from someone who's not doing anything, because people always have a lot to say, and and it just talk is cheap, man.
Yeah, and a lot of stuff with like social media and such.
Mm.
You really got to put yourself out there and willing to be the person that you say that you are online. You've got to
Yeah,
be that person like 95% of the time, and that other
yeah,
five, you probably better make sure you ain't filming yourself.
yeah.
Um, we live in a world where a lot of people are getting canceled and
Mm.
stuff like that, and apparently you can only be canceled if you want to be. But
Mm.
you know the world's a strange place to evolve in, but at the same time I feel like there's all these new mediums and people can grow so much more because of those mediums existing. There's a lot of money to be made as we see normal network television fail and stuff like that. They have many reasons to turn and see several other guys and see what somebody's doing on Twitch, YouTube, and a
Mm.
host of dozens of others places
Mm.
to put the stuff.
Mm-hmm, yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, man, I was quickly just doing a quick promo, letting everyone know that we're live as well. So I just tagged everyone in my Discord, and we got a few new people here as well, man. So, okay, another thing with the introduction, one more thing I want to ask, because the people are probably wondering, like, they probably want to, like, do you want to, like, disclose, like, where you're from, and, like, what kind, just, like, the basics, what you currently doing, and stuff like that, if you want.
Okay, so currently I live in the United States of America in
Mm-hmm.
a state called Ohio and a city called Columbus. We do actually exist out here. Rumors on the internet, we're not real. We are actually real. We're here. We
Yeah.
have a lot we have a lot in common with like if y'all have ever heard the internet memes about Florida man, Ohio man is also a thing. A lot of serial
Yeah.
killers and a lot of presidents come from here. Figured that one
Yeah,
out.
I actually was crazy real quick. Now that you mentioned that, because I was watching this. I don't know if you know this. There's a channel on YouTube, a very amazing, interesting channel. It's called like JCS Psychology. It's like a crime kind of YouTube channel. They interview people who have done like serious crimes and something like. Have you heard of that?
I've watched there's a lot of channels like that are out now.
Yeah.
One of the ones that I really liked up until here recently was Adventures with Purpose,
Yeah.
and they cover more of the people that um, a lot of people that have self-ended by driving into waterways or accidents that have happened in waterways.
Yeah.
And um, but they ended up having a very bad turn on social media where the owner slash main host of the show had a lot of skeletons in his closet from his teenage years, and it all come back to bite him in the buns. And
Oh shit.
now even really saying the guy's channel name can even be a bit of a faux pas.
Wait, what was the name again? Adventures.
Adventures with Purpose.
Okay, yeah, I should check that out, man. Okay, before we get to the questions, the reason why I mentioned that channel that I mentioned, the JCS, is because I was watching it today and there was a crazy, like, this crazy guy. He killed his ex-girlfriend and it was just some crazy shit. But the reason why I mentioned it is because like there was some mention of like Ohio and stuff like that, and because you just mentioned that as well. Ken, you said you're from Ohio, right?
Yeah,
So you said like there's a lot of
basically, I
crazy things that
mean,
happen.
there's a lot of serial killers like the Unabomber and stuff like that have all come from Ohio, but
Yeah.
we've also had like 13 presidents born from Ohio, which is
Wow.
a lot. Like,
Who's the
there's a
most
lot of
recent
things
one?
that happen in Ohio.
Who's the most recent Ohio president?
Yeah, it's been a while. I'd have to Google it.
Alright, no worries. Alright, listen, man. Shout out to everyone in the chat, man. Yo, what's good, Edward? Good to see you, bro. Good to see you here in this podcast. My first time also doing this podcast on Twitch, man. So let me know, chat, if you guys can hear us and see us well. Everything should be alright. But let's quickly go to PSM, man. He had this question. He said, what is the purpose? Oh well, we're going deep, man, with this one. He says, what is the purpose? You know when you see purpose in the question, man. What is the purpose of our existence? Not from a societal perspective, but through individualistic perspective of our very own malfeasance. And words I can't even pronounce. Malfeasance derived from the psychological variations of our brainwave intrinsically reverberating. Bro, alright, I don't know if this is a serious question because there's so much shit that's mind fucking me, but I don't. Maybe if you want to read it and try to, I don't even know what he's saying, bro. But
Basically, what he's coming down to, I believe,
uh,
is what do I think the meaning of life is?
okay.
And I think to me, the meaning of life varies for every person on the planet. Everybody's meaning is different.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that can vary based on whether or not you believe there's a God, what your moral compasses are for good or bad, who your God is.
Mm-hmm.
If you believe there's nothing, what are the reasons that any of us exist?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I can't tell you the meaning without using a biblical sense or some form of sense like that of why we would actually have ever been created. What I do know is that we are here. We're here now. We have
Mm-hmm.
lineages that have built us up to be here, and hopefully we all intend to carry on those lineages. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what more. Uh, I would prefer something more specific, I
Yeah,
suppose.
I think that's a good thing that you mentioned because I was gonna actually talk about this. So with this question, I want to quickly just quick go. I'm gonna ask Kanye and PSN just to clear a few things up. So he says, "What is the purpose of our existence, not from a societal perspective, but through individualistic perception of our very own malfeasance?" Wait, okay, what does malfeasance mean?
Let's get out the Google machine.
All right, yeah,
So since
that's
he wants us to break this down,
yeah, because I've heard that word is it says wrong. It means wrongdoing. Okay. Derived from the psychological variations of our brain wave. But he kind of lost me at the end when he says malfeasance derived from the psychological
intrinsically
variation.
reverberating.
Yeah. Do you understand like the
I,
last part of his question?
I think that was him attempting to put together a sentence with the biggest words that he could.
That's what it looks like, bro. Because you
What
know,
part of I got punched in the head for a living don't we understand?
yeah, man, nah, that's crazy. Now, and that's another thing, man. Because I wanted to quickly with the whole thing of the first time doing it. I think if you talk about like a few things, so because they'll definitely relate to you because they know me and I like the boxing, the fighting, and music things, and you've had a lot of things with that. Can you talk about your past a little bit? Because you've done. I don't know if did you do boxing or was it MMA or what kind of fighting did you do?
I did MMA on a amateur level.
Yeah.
Um, my ability to go pro was just coming as I started to lose my passion for fighting in general.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I had a lot of moments where I was soul searching and trying to figure out like what was the thing that I wanted to become because I had gone to school to be a mechanic at a very young age. I was the first hire in through the automotive youth education system. Was the youngest one to have ever done that. Got my license at 14 and a half years old. By that time, I already owned 3 cars. So like I accelerated on that path, and
Mm.
then I met um, a woman, and I fell really deep in love with her, and
Wait,
I
how old were you when you
proceeded to
met
give that
this woman?
everything.
If you don't mind me asking, how old were you when you met her?
I believe at that time I would have been 19,
Okay.
and I pressured myself a lot to make sure that even at the age of 19, since I had already excelled so much in my
Wow. Yeah.
financial life by that point,
Mm-hmm.
I'd made a lot of money. I
Wait.
was still making a lot of
Wait.
money.
Sorry. Just to sorry to interrupt, because I think this will be interesting for especially like some of the there's a few like the younger people here. If you want, if you don't mind, would you be able to talk about what? Because at 19, that's quite a young age. But you said you already financially like stabilized yourself. You made like a lot. So what were you doing? Was it the mechanic stuff that you kind of like set you in that path where to you're making decent amount, or was it like other things that maybe if you want to talk about?
So in
So.
mechanics, most people would be familiar with hourly pay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And as a mechanic, you can get paid a couple other different ways. One of which
Mm.
would be called flat rate,
Mm.
which means if a job takes 4 hours, you get paid 4 hours. But
Mm-hmm.
if it takes you 6 hours,
You get
you
paid
still
six.
get paid four. But if you
Uh,
get it done in an hour,
you
you
get paid
still
the
get
same.
paid four.
Okay, okay. Is that like
So
freelancing? Was it different?
no, this is straight through companies like any sort of automotive dealership you guys would have.
Okay.
So in my case, it was Germain Toyota, then Dave Gill Pontiac, and then a Saturn dealership, and then I moved to
Mm.
semi trucks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I met her about 2 months after I had moved into semi trucks and started getting paid commission. So I was getting paid a percentage
Mm.
of every dollar that was charged, which was 42%.
Wow,
And
that
in
sounds
my,
like a lot. I don't know if the calculation, but that sounds like crazy.
I mean, it's a lot when you also have benefits too over top of that. So, like, you're
Yeah.
collecting 70% of all the money that the shop brings in off of your work.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they would do sales spiffs where they would give you a percentage of anything that you upsold to. So, like, in 6 months, I make 120 grand.
Wow. Wait, did you actually make
Um,
that in 6 months?
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And that would have been back in like the early 2000s, like 2006, 2008 area. Like,
Mm.
I was making a lot of bread.
Yeah, especially for those times. Like, if you think about like, what's the word I'm looking for? Is it inflation or like if it's if you had to say that amount in 2022, how much would that be? Do you think the 120?
I mean, comparatively, it's almost like some things have tripled. So,
Yeah,
like, now it would be almost the equivalent of close to 300 grand
that's
in 6 months.
crazy.
Like, it's a lot of money.
Wow.
Like, even now,
That's
120 grand in 6 months is still a
still
lot of
good
money.
compared to like yeah, like the average person. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So I
Wow.
met this girl. She hadn't graduated yet, and things was like we hit it off
Mm-hmm.
quick.
Okay.
But she lived 450 miles away,
Oh,
and it was a long drive. But hey,
wait,
your boy's got a
450
nice
miles.
car.
450
Yeah,
miles. Wait, so what state was that?
she was in Pennsylvania on the other side,
Ah,
so I was
okay.
practically driving to like New York.
I had a friend in Pennsylvania once, man, but that's crazy.
Yeah, over near
Yeah.
Philly,
Okay.
and so she graduated from college, and the day she graduated, I showed up, was there for her graduation. We had been on several dates. She decided she was going to move out with me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everything was
Wait, actually,
going
real
my
quick.
way.
Wait,
On
how did you meet?
I thought, yeah, go ahead.
How did you meet her again?
In all honesty, AOL chats,
Oh, the old school. Okay, the old school. Okay, that's the
old
old.
school.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I guess you could say that's
So
the old
like,
school internet way.
yeah, I had like local girls and stuff, and like I met lots of women like
Wow.
Well, I guess at that time, I don't even necessarily know that I'd call them women. I don't think most of the girls became women until they was in their mid-20s.
Mm-hmm.
But like this was like the one. This
Mm.
was like the one that was too good to be true. And it's led me to believe that there's, basically three loves we get in our life, and this was the first one, the one that was like
Uh-huh.
ultra unbelievable.
Okay.
So
Wait, sorry.
I started sacrifice.
Wait.
Go ahead.
Can you repeat that? The one what you just said a second ago. You said you compared something between the two. Was it like what did you?
You mean about the three loves?
Yeah, yeah. Can you just repeat that bit again?
So the first one is like you have three loves. It's a kind of like a way to think about things. You get
Mm.
three loves in your life, three true loves.
Yeah.
One is the one that feels too good to be true because it is. The second
Okay.
one is way wrong, and I definitely met that one. And then the third one is actually the right one. But
Wait,
you don't know until you suffered through the three levels of
wait,
it
wait. I
that,
heard that recently,
that's
man.
actually a thing.
I heard that recently. Do you think that's actually true? The
I
three
really
loves?
do.
Yeah.
And I also think that there's something about like the right level of damage for you individually when you're
Mm.
meeting women
Okay.
that like when I met the first one, that felt like everything was ridiculous and had taken off and it was crazy. And, I never felt this way before in my life, even though I had other girls that, this one felt different because we were on the same level. Everything was like she was in as deep as I was. So, but things ended up kind of going sour with her after like 18 months. And
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I had more or less emotionally, physically, and mentally had crashed so bad
Mm-hmm.
that I was losing my direction. I didn't know what was my next step. I had lost a job, and I had
Mm.
already bought us our first house. So by 22, I'm a homeowner
Wow.
and paid in cash. Like this wasn't like no
Wow.
loans, no nothing. Paid in cash, remodeled. I was like 80% of the way through the remodel when she left.
Wow. Wait, give me one sec,
Wish
Kenny. Kenny, before you carry on, I'm just
Yeah, go ahead.
it's my camera's bugging me. I'm just gonna I'm gonna quickly wipe my camera. Just give me one sec, yeah.
Yeah, do your
So,
thing, bub.
cool, one sec.
I'm gonna light a cigarette and tell you all to not smoke either.
I'm I'm back. I literally meant one second when I said one sec. All right, yo, chat. Let me know if you can see me better, guys, because my Mac camera just needed to be polished a little bit. Yo, Kenny, you still here?
Yeah, I think you got more of a glare from the light above you. If you could tilt your
Yeah.
camera down just a hair, you'd probably get rid of it.
Yeah, I can see that. I don't know why it's because it was bugging me a little bit. Yo, Liam, what's good? Good to see you, bro. Yeah, man, we're having a very great conversation with my guy Kenny. I don't know. I don't think it's a glare. It's just something with my. But it's all right. So yeah, man. Sorry. Carry on. Yeah, what you were saying. Sorry for that.
So, we had been together for like 18 months. I bought her a car. Shit was,
Hmm.
uh, at the
Wow.
time, I thought everything was going great.
So you thought she was the
Where
one?
I thought it was it. That like it was a wrap. I wasn't looking for nobody else. Didn't want nobody else. Everything was
Yeah.
great. Find a couple bad text messages, and then before you know it, I'm like,
Shit.
fuck it, life don't matter.
Wait, hold on, because we got quite a few. It's a decent amount of people here now. So let's just for all the people who just joined. I want the people to actually kind of if you can you summarize what you said so far with like the girl, so just like maybe a quick 30 seconds so people up to speed. And yo, shout out to Telestio and Liam and Count Kush, shout out to the boys, man. But yeah, if you wanna, because you were talking about the girl and the thing, so yeah, if you wanna quickly summarize just so they get up to speed,
Um,
and then carry.
Basics come. Hey, I was working my way up through
Mm,
an industry that was allowing me to make a lot of money.
mm,
I met a girl, bottle chick from another state.
yeah.
Uh, was doing the whole flyer out and all that sort of stuff, and she was flying out on her own money.
The Floyd
Wasn't just
Mayweather
me throwing
lifestyle.
money at her.
Yeah.
But that existed even then. I'm an old man now, see.
Mm-hmm.
But some text messages kind of came through.
Oh, you're lagging, man. Wait one sec.
This was her talking to her from
Wait,
back home.
Kenny, you're lagging a bit. Am I lagging or is it you? Your chat.
Probably.
because you're freezing a little bit. Wait, speak now. I think you're good now. Yeah, it was.
Okay, as far as I know,
Yeah, no, your voice is like
I should be good.
it's cutting up and it's like it's freezing a little bit. Your chat real quick. Let me know. Can you guys hear me good? Because I need to. I think he's lagging, or it might be my internet, but I think it might be Kenny. Just let me know. Someone let me know in the chat real quick on Twitch. And wait one sec, quickly. But yo, real quick, if you guys we're doing this quick podcast, man, with Kenny. If you guys have any questions for Kenny or me, let us know. But yeah, Kenny, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, man, you were freezing a bit. I think you're better now. Because literally as you were talking for 30 seconds while you were talking, it would just cut out, and then you would come in and out, and it would just like freeze for like 5 seconds. But I think it's still happening because I can see your camera freezing a bit.
Okay.
One sec. I think it.
Has it gotten any better?
Yeah. Try to sorry. Try to carry on with like the story, and now I'll let you know if it's freezing.
Okay. So, met her and then ended up like everything fell apart overnight, and
Yeah.
ended up watching the Ultimate Fighter, the season 1 finale, which was funny because I brought up Stephen Bonner.
Oh yeah.
And instantly fell in love with like, hey, maybe this will be the next step, the next thing that I do. And started looking for places to train and ended up finding Hammer House Fight Club was the name of it.
Oh, that's sick. I want to quickly summarize because I think your internet is better now. So basically, you just so people know, man, you guys need to chill in the chat because there's a lot of people going crazy in the chat, man. We're having a good podcast here, man. If you don't want to talk about the podcast, a little bit of trolling here and there, lighthearted, but chill, man, chill. All right. Anyway, listen. So you said you when did you start as a mechanic? Because that was was that the first like proper thing you did career wise? I think.
Yeah, I started off like just handing my dad tools back when I was like 5. And then by the time I was probably 10 or 11 years old, we were fixing up old Chevys and changing transmissions, building motors, and all that sort of stuff.
Wow. So he kind of like like groomed you into it pretty much, like the mechanic
Yeah.
thing.
My dad was a truck driver the whole time that I grew up.
Oh, okay.
Like he's been a truck driver my whole life, still is. And
Okay.
back in like the 60s, he was really into muscle cars and stuff. So it was kind of like a natural progression that when I was old enough for him to have extra money to do it, then he kind of went back to it and I went with him. I had played like football and stuff, but then it was like once cars kind of came in the picture, it was a wrap.
Do you think it's like it might sound cheesy, but would you say it's something that you kind of just like fell in love with, like the whole? Because it seems like the passion, like were you just very passionate about it, and that's how you got into this career?
Yeah, it was an easy thing to kind of fall in love with because like I always excelled at math and science, and like I had a lot of like just even in like elementary school, I excelled in those two so much that they always wanted to promote me and have me do like grades higher. So I technically should have graduated sooner, but I
we're speaking
didn't
to a
because I took
genius.
football. So
That's it. Yo,
I
chat.
don't know about that, but I was 98th percentile in the United States in math and science.
That's crazy, man. Now, real talk, man. You lot can learn a lot from Canny. He's always been very supportive in the Discord whenever people need help, and like he's helped me a lot as well, man. He's done a lot. He's been through a lot. So if you guys have any questions for Canny or me, anything you're struggling with, any advice you have, take this opportunity, man, and stop trolling in the chat because we're about to hit 10 viewers. Shout out to everyone here. If you're new, make sure you follow. Make sure you check out if you got any links. Make sure you can put it in the chat. But yeah, let's carry on, man, because I think this is because I want them to actually know more, man, before we go into like a few things and more questions. So yeah, you said we talked about you getting into the mechanic thing, and you said you started making like a lot of money from like a young age. When did you say that started? Like, was it like 18? Was it when you hit
It
19?
was probably realistically like 17. So like at like before you're 18 in the United States,
Yeah.
like you can make so much money before you have to pay taxes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I hit that I hit that limit while I was still in high school.
That's
And by the way, I'm
crazy.
not flexing prime, I'm just thirsty.
Nah, that's crazy, man. That, bro, that nah,
But
that's
probably
to be
making
honest
like
with you,
40, 50 grand a year.
bro, I didn't know. To be honest, I like as a mechanic, like I didn't know you could make that much money. I didn't know you could make like very, very good money from. Obviously, I knew like you knew there's money in it, but I didn't know you could make that much money from being a mechanic. Did you guys know? Like, chat.
Like 3 years ago,
Yeah.
I was at like 350 grand at the 8 month mark right before I got cancer.
Wow, that's insane, man. I'm sorry to hear that, bro.
So
Um,
I will solidly state, and I know that there's a lot of like high school age type people and
yeah, yeah,
people that maybe have just graduated. Like
yeah,
we're not given enough credit to uh doing physical work,
yeah.
like being mechanics, electricians, plumbers. Like I know a plumber right now making $55 an hour. He's been in the business
Wow.
for 3 years.
So, Candy, let me quickly ask you with what you just said. So, do you think like the fact that you because I think also at the same time there's also a lot of mechanics and stuff that don't make that much, it's like, but do you think the reason why you were so successful is it, do you think maybe you just knew the something that they don't? Did you just work smarter, not harder? Did you just know people that kind of would guide you? Did you get into like the right type? Because I know there's because a lot of people who do that, they're not going to make that much. So what do you think made you like the anomaly? Like how come you were able to really excel and make very good money from it?
So to me, a lot of it was being willing to move or change a job
Hmm.
if a place was paying excessively more.
So taking risk.
And then
That's
I was never afraid to work more hours or work harder,
yeah,
buy the proper tools to do the jobs.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And sometimes that's a net negative. If you have a job that pays you $400 and a tool to do it faster is 1,000, a
Mm.
lot of people will never spend that 1,000, but they'll do the job the hard way and kind of work backwards. They end up behind the ball week over week, and it ends up costing them, 5 grand over the course of a year. Or if they had the tool to
Hmm.
do it, could have done 10,000 more.
Yeah,
So it was always, you know, I'm basically like you can see in the background. I'm surrounded by tools
yeah,
in
yeah.
a Camaro.
That's
Like
crazy.
it was the one to do it all the time, and
So
not having a problem with working the hard hours.
so it sounds like also that's like in a way I don't know if you would agree, but like taking risks as well because a lot it seems like a lot of people wouldn't do that or would be too scared to do something like that. Whereas
Well,
you,
and some people just don't want to do the work.
yeah, that's
I mean,
true.
it's a lot easier to go and work at McDonald's, and the job, like when you leave the job stays where it's at.
Yeah.
Um, when you start like owning your own business and stuff, even when you go home,
Mm-hmm.
that job's still with you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's what it was like for you.
Yeah, I might get home at 2 a.m. and get a call at 3:30 in the morning, but for 119 an hour, I'm back in the truck
There,
and gone again.
bro. That's crazy, man. I love that, man. Did you have anyone who kind of like guided you? Any friends who you were around, like other mechanics, or was it just all you? Like, or did you have anyone that you looked up to who gave you, anything like that?
So I had my dad that got me into it. I think that there's because like there's a question, who's your biggest inspiration in the industry that I'm in?
Oh, yeah,
So
that's great.
technically, the industry that I'm still in is automotive, but it's going to be changing more towards YouTube. Um, so my first inspiration would be my dad, who was probably the biggest, because without the first push, I would have never done more.
Mm.
And then secondly, it was several friends that I made that were also in the industry, and we came up at the same time doing the same things.
Yeah.
And hopefully some of those guys you'll see them on YouTube also. And then I had a teacher by the name of Tom Chance, who was excellent out at Fairfield Career Center. Dude's
Mm.
like really. And then I had a another guy by the name of Mike Bussey and another guy by the name of Dave Johnson. And I don't think without like those 7 or 8 people, really, I don't think that I ever would have excelled to the point where I felt successful.
So your
Because
first inspiration was your dad.
you had to have the older guys that gave you the wisdom and handed you knowledge and
Mm.
let you borrow tools and maybe instilled even the passion
Yeah.
for it into
Mm-hmm.
you.
100%, man. So your first inspiration was your dad, as you said. And who would you say is like the next? Sorry if you already mentioned it, but who was the number two, like the one right after your dad? If you had to say one thing or one person, or
So I would say the next was probably the guy that I talked about that had passed away 2 years ago, Jesse Mercer.
okay,
Um, Me and him were the same age, so like when I met him, it was like I instantly had a partner.
yeah, yeah,
And then I met another guy by the name of Tiny, which hopefully I'll be able to get him on a weight loss journey, and we'll be able to see that on social media soon.
that's sick, man.
Um,
Yeah,
I'm After me getting cancer, several of my friends kind of took a downward slide too, and it was crazy.
wow,
But hopefully we're gonna all be turning those things around.
hundred
But
percent.
I
Yeah,
think that without like several of them, I just don't see me being where I ever like how I got to where I got to. I don't see it would have worked the same way.
yeah, no, 100%. That's the reason why I asked the question because I feel like in a lot of things, especially things like this, man, where um actually I don't know what I was, but basically it's a lot easier and it's a lot more it's a lot better, man, if you have like a network, like a support network, or like a like a partner or like a mentor, when you want to excel at something at a high level. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, and I think that there's also like the direct need to push yourself to become more, but without those few and few little people here and there that like kind of pave the way for you,
Yeah,
that road's a hell of a lot bumpier.
yeah,
And a lot of people like you can get on right now and look at self-made or something, search that in Facebook, and everybody
yeah,
claims to be self-made.
yeah,
But
yeah.
in reality,
They're not.
nobody's self-made. There's no Little Nas X without Dre. There's no Dre without
Not only that,
Elvis,
yeah, and not only that, all
you
these
know.
people who are like self-made, they've got huge teams, man. Like like Drake has like 20 people in his camp and his team. It's like it's not one person doing everything, man. That's what I always try to tell people. People think like you can just do everything with
Yeah,
one man. Is
that
you
dude's
can?
got 20 ghostwriters behind him and
Yeah,
self-made. Like there's no
yeah,
you're
no.
not.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think in very special cases, there are people who literally can excel and do everything themselves. Like, for example, I think it was Prince. He literally made his own beats. He wrote everything himself. He did everything himself. But I'm sure he
Yeah,
still
Prince
had.
is wildly talented.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that you can't be Prince, but like I don't know if you're familiar with like US football, but
Not really,
like
but
Patrick Mahomes is not Patrick Mahomes without a line in front of him.
no, of
There's
course.
still people there. Like
Yeah.
Prince paid uh, for his recording by going and being the janitor at a
Yeah.
recording studio.
Yeah,
But if the
bro.
recording studio did not exist previously, he's now got to he's going to wash toilets until he
Yeah.
builds one.
Literally, bro. 100%, man. That's actually one thing where I'm trying to really do, man. I want to do more to get like connected into the industry, man. You have to like do stuff like that or connections and builds, and even sometimes you might have to work for free, man. And with what I'm trying to do, what people know is like I really want to do this music thing. Like I want to start volunteering, man, and just even like helping other artists or anything like that where I can get my foot in the door. You know what I mean? But real quick before we carry on, I want to talk to the chat and ask chat and Canny something. Real quick, let's get a little segment here before we carry on with the conversation, man. I think it's gone really well, man. If anyone has any questions right now in the chat for me or Canny, we're gonna take a quick segment where we just answer questions. So yeah, you guys got like 5 minutes. So, and I'm gonna also let's also read the chat. So let's see if there's anything we missed. I'm just gonna quickly grab my phone. So give me 1 sec. Yo. Yo, Corley, what's good, bro? Good to see you, man. Liam with the bicep curls, man. I'm gonna pull out the dumbbells in a sec, bro. Sorry to hear that. Kenny said, "Who's your biggest?" Okay, this one. Who's your biggest inspiration? Liam says in the industry you are in, both of you. So Kenny already he answered this one, and then for me, my biggest inspiration. That's a great question, man. I have to think about this one, man. Who's your biggest inspiration in the industry you are in? So the first of all, to be honest, man, I'm gonna have to mention boxing first because boxing is literally like as cheesy as someone wants to say it is, but like it is like my first love, bro. Like boxing fucking saved me, man. So I have to talk about boxing, even though like I'm not a professional boxer, but hey man, it's my life, bro. So I'm always gonna do boxing, injured or not. I'm still gonna be involved in boxing. I have my own boxing league. I train as much as I can. I had my first fight in September. Also, can you help me with that one as well, man? The internet coach, my internet coach, man, you helped me quite a lot as well, man. But yeah, when it comes to my biggest inspiration for boxing, I'll definitely have to put Floyd Mayweather up there, man. Because when I was young, I used to watch so many Floyd Mayweather videos. That shit was crazy, man. He used to like just fucking train like an animal. I remember a story where he used to run. He used to go to like a club or a pub or whatever, like a club, and he used to run from the club all the way home, like as part of his, just like as normally he would just fucking run all the way home, and just things like that. He'd be like, he had a story where he was like, yo, let me get my running shoes. When he's out in the club, he was like, yo, he was told one of his team, yo, give me my running shoes, man. I'm gonna run home. There's shit like that, bro. And then you don't see even like high level people for any field. Like, there's only a certain amount of people who go the extra mile, you know. So
Yeah, and I think that without doing that road work, you can't appreciate that ring time either.
yeah, no, 100%, man. So yeah, definitely Floyd Mayweather, one of my biggest inspirations when it comes to boxing. Who else? I really liked Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali. Inspiration. I could also say one of my good friends that I started boxing with, man, because me and him back in school, man, we literally we kind of got into boxing at the same time, man. So, and then when it comes to music, I'll ask me that again in about 20 or 30 minutes because I don't want to talk about myself too much. So, anyway, if you guys have any more questions, let us
I said, go
know.
ahead and let her rip. Bub.
Huh?
I said, go ahead and let her rip.
Yeah, nah, I know, but I want to wait a little bit. But yeah, man, Kenny, do you if you want to check if is there anything we missed in the chat, any questions or anything like that, or anything you want to add?
Tips for growing consistent buyers list. So, I think that there's been a lot of market changes that are happening right now. Um, and previously, but right now is a good time to be about your content.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, if you want to sell stuff, you got to tell people why they want those things. Show them why your product's better than another product. Be
Facts.
the example of upward movement would be the name that I use the most. So I used to own a car dealership. See, upward movement is like when a person pulls onto your parking lot and they have 2002 Ford Focus. You got to show them something that's worth giving up whatever that number is to get into the next best thing. That's the upward movement. When they can see that upward movement, they will generally capitalize on it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have social media the way that it is now, that means you have a customer that's connected 24 hours a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you're not at least attempting to contact that customer
Mm-hmm.
once a day, 3 times a week, whatever your number that's suitable for you is, like you're not really trying to grow consistency because you're not consistent. So start with, your Facebook pages, your YouTube pages, your Instagrams, Twitter. There's literally hundreds of ways every day that you could be, approaching new customers and growing a better customer list, clientele. You know, we don't have to be out here cold calling like they did in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Really, I don't even understand why people are spam calling anymore. It just doesn't even make sense.
don't
You
you think it
you
still
could
kind of
spend a lot
works
less money.
in some maybe kind of instances or situations? Do you think it still kind of works? Obviously, probably the internet is more efficient and better.
I mean, I think that it works for people that are old enough to be gullible,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what that is about. Like, they're not trying to scam a 20-year-old guy that works at Pizza Hut. They're trying to
Yeah.
scam
Oh yeah,
grandma
that's
at
true.
home that gets a
That's very
SSI
true,
check.
actually. Yeah, that's actually very true. 100%, and that can be applied what he said to anything you want to do. Because I know Kush is also in a similar path to me with like the music stuff. Me and him, we freestyle on my Discord server quite often, and so yeah, things like that, man. It's very important. What it really stuck out to me what Kanye was saying about. You were saying about like the you're connected to your customer 24/7 on when it's online. So that's yeah, man. That's so true, especially in this day of like social media and being connected. Like everyone's literally on their phone. Everyone's on the internet 24/7. You know, like your customers are just there. You know. So
And most of my customers are
mm,
literally friends of mine now. So like
yeah,
I don't have to go nowhere. I don't have to ask nobody for any customers. There's
yeah.
11 cars outside of my house right now waiting on work.
Yeah, nah,
Like
that's sick, bro.
there's $1 million RV that I work on. I don't
Fuck.
have to I don't have to call about it.
Yo,
Like
Kenny,
I'm not trying to get the work.
we need to
It's
we,
there
we need to charge these people for
because
this content, man. This content's too good, man.
I mean, we ain't gonna
Nah,
charge
just
nothing.
joking.
I
Nah, just
feel
joking.
like I've said for the last few weeks, I think
Yeah,
that the number one thing that you can do right now
yeah,
is establish yourself
yeah.
as the friend of many people.
A hundred
That's
percent.
all you need to do,
That's what I try
and
to
they will
do.
take care of you for the rest of your life. What more do you want for that?
No, 100%, man. And I like what you said, man. Because I know this guy, man. I want this kind of podcast to be more of like also, it is like a podcast, but also just like a conversation, man. More like a conversation type vibe where it's like just two guys just having just like a regular interaction, man, who from two sides of the world. Because when I watch podcasts, man, that kind of format is very appealing to people, where people just literally go into and just talk as if like just like it's like a friend talking to another friend in a bar. You know what I mean? So yeah,
Well,
we
I think that we've had plenty of people that show that the model works
yeah
to get on and just long form talk to people, even if they don't seem like you have anything in common. That you can literally mark out a path and go, okay, we're going to talk about this. Like you
yeah
don't even need to know about girl A, as we'll call her, to know like some of the things that I'm going to tell you might fit you, even though you're on the other side of the world.
100%, man. And Count says, let's see what Count says. Speaking of which, are there any good SMM apps that you know of? He says social media management.
So I'm not real familiar with those sort of things. What I do know is that when I was actively searching for customers to buy cars day over day,
Mm-hmm.
the best thing that I could do, and I would recommend that anybody do this, was open a Facebook page,
Mm-hmm.
get as many people as you can to come out there, give you 5 stars. What I did was I went through and I tagged, I think I had like 380 followers at the time or friends,
Yeah.
tagged them all, gave them a call to action, said,
Mm.
hey, can you give me a 5 star rating on my new page?
Mm.
Come by on, opening day. We're going to have free hot dogs, free hamburgers,
That's smart.
and say what's up to your people. And I started off with 200 people giving me a 5 star rating.
Wow. How long did that
Um,
take?
that was within 24 hours.
What, you had
That
200
was just
people
that
in
was just
24
asking your
hours?
friends, hey, can you do this?
Wait, so you had 200 people give you 5 stars and it took 24 hours?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
within 24 hours. The business wasn't even technically open yet, and I had 200
What?
5 star ratings. It's
Wait,
probably much closer to 3.
because I did something a little bit similar, not entirely similar. But wait, so you said you offered them free food as well. So how did that, like, talk more about that? How did that, like,
So
work out?
anytime you do any sort of grand opening of a brick and mortar type business, I would strongly recommend that you have somebody out there on a grill. You're basically trying to
No
fulfill
people.
multiple needs.
Yeah, yeah,
You want somebody to see physical presence at the building that you're at.
100%.
You
That's so
want
important.
somebody to understand what the business is. So I got a parking lot, bunch of cars, you know what I mean? And now I'm also adding a smell to it. There's no people out around where I was cooking food, but it was a very busy intersection
Wow.
across from a fire department and right down the street from a hospital.
Mm.
So I'm trying to draw all the attention that I can. So I got balloons
That's
waving in the wind, hot
yeah,
dogs and hamburgers
bro.
wafting up the air.
That's smart. Wait, how old were you when, if you don't mind me asking, when you did this?
That was 7 years ago. Well, 7 years ago when I closed it. So I would have been 9 years. I was 29 at that time.
You were 29. Did anyone like tell you? Because that's a lot. I feel like a lot of people have issues with like marketing and promoting themselves and stuff like that. But it seems like that's like something I would do, like no doubt. But did anyone kind of do that? Did anyone like give you advice to do stuff like that, or did you just think of with new ways to like get yourself out there, or like how did that come about?
I think that I had two other business partners. So I think it was just kind of like uh, the nature of my buddy was from the area that we were opening our business. And he said, hey, we should have a cookout and I can see if I can invite people that I know only, over to the cookout. And I was like, well, why would we do it for 10 or 11 people? We'll buy enough for 50 people and
Mm,
see who stops. And if we need more than 50 people worth of food,
mm.
we'll send our helper down to the store, send an
Yeah.
assistant, go get you more food.
Okay. So your friend
I'll sit
was
there
doing
and
the
cook hot
cooking.
dogs all day. You want to come buy a $20,000 truck for a hot
Yeah.
dog? Yeah, we do that trade.
No, that's sick, man. Wait, who was actually making the food? Was it your friend you said?
Oh, I spent time on the grill. My
Oh, okay.
my partner Brad spent time on the grill. Like it was like four people, but we cooked out for like 13, 14 hours that day.
Wow.
Everybody around there knew we were cooking out.
How many people would you say showed up in total? Like definitely 100 plus.
It's probably like 30 to 40 people.
Oh, okay.
But on the first day of
That's
us
good.
being open, it netted me 4 car sales.
Yeah.
So I opened up the doors on the first day and I sold like $70,000 worth of cars.
That's insane.
Probably made 10, 15 grand on day one. Like that, you need that when you're opening a business on day one.
Yeah.
You need that.
That's fire, man. That's actually crazy. Yo, does anyone have any questions for me or Canny before we go? I think actually we have a few comments here. Shout out to
I,
Corley.
I see one that says tips for
Yeah,
buying
I
a
was gonna read that
house.
one. Yeah.
So my tips for buying a house is step one, build credit. And I would say that that's step one for a lot of things, especially if you're here in the United States. It's a lot easier to buy large, expensive items when credit's already established. Um, the best way to get $100,000 loan is to have already had a loan for 100,000.
Mm-hmm. You're lagging a bit. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it seemed like it was catching up there for a minute.
Yeah, I think you're all right now.
This cold weather is doing some crazy stuff.
Yeah, I think it's because I can see my OBS, my stream software. It's going red. It's going red and green. I think it might be maybe my connection going up and down as well. But I think we should be good now. If you try, try
Okay.
carry.
So yeah, tips for buying a house would be one of my first tips would be to build credit.
Build credit.
Start today if you haven't yet.
Hmm. No, 100%, man. That's man. Like, just questions like this, man. I feel like you don't really see a lot of this type of content as well on Twitch, man. So, guys, real talk. Like, if you guys really appreciate what me and Canny are doing, and shout out to Canny, man, 100% as well. Make sure you guys send this to like a friend. You know, I'm sure your friends will also benefit from this conversation as much as I am as well. So let me quickly see what else we got in the chat. I see a bit of trolling, man. Let me see if there's anything before we carry on with the convo. How do I send an appeal to get banned? You can send me a whisper on Liam. Send me a whisper on Twitch and we can talk about it. Shout out to Telesio. Thank you for the follow, man. I appreciate the follow. Make sure if you guys are new, make sure you follow my Twitch right now, man. If you got Amazon Prime, make sure you subscribe. I had a quick question, man. I saw someone, I don't know if they're trolling, but he said, "Why are you flexing your Prime?" What does he mean by that? don't know if he was talking to you.
He's talking about me drinking Prime.
Oh, the drink. Isn't that like Tyson Fury's new brand or? I've heard a lot about.
No, it's Logan Paul and KSI. But
Oh,
I've
okay.
actually started to kind of like it. Like I've been
Serious.
telling you about that for like a couple months.
Yeah, because I remember a few people were mentioning it, and I saw someone the other day. He said like he made a video saying like no, like honestly speaking, it's a good drink. Can you talk about it? Like what kind of is it like an energy
So
drink?
it's basically just a hydration drink, like comparative to like Gatorade, but it's
Yeah.
not all salty. So like I'm gonna try to show you the label here.
Okay. Yeah, I can
See
see
if
the
that shows up.
calories. 25 calories, yeah. Okay.
So if for me, I'm trying to start to peak back to eating a little better,
Yeah, man.
and I was asked to gain a lot of weight and stuff for going through cancer treatment.
Wait, they
So
asked you to gain weight?
yeah, they asked me to gain weight, and I did an experimental medication.
Hmm.
So like I still smoke cigarettes, though that was like the first thing I wanted to do was stop when I went into a cancer clinic. It just seemed like the right thing. But they
Hmm.
asked me to continue smoking. Uh, I'm allowed to quit, um, but it's all been part of a medical study.
Okay. All right. Wait, actually, I want to go back on the Prime. What flavor? What flavor is that?
That one's tropical punch.
Chocobo, man. All right. Did you order it online or was it from a shop or?
Well, I can buy them at a grocery store called Kroger's here in Ohio.
Okay.
You can order them online, but I think like in your area, they're charging like 7, 8 bucks a bottle for them or something. But they're two
Wow.
bucks here.
Okay. 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 Now I need to. Yo, let me know, chat. Has anyone here ever tried the drink Prime? Apparently, it's KSI and Logan Paul's new brand. Liam, real quick, he says, "How can me and Telesio get unbanned from your server?" I mean, like I said, man, my server is for just normal people who just want, just normal people like music fans, fitness people, people who actually contribute and here to actually, be part of the community. But you guys were just trolling and like kind of like picking on Jay, which is, I mean, trolling, having fun. I do that myself, but there's limits. You can't just join a VC when it's like just like a studio VC and then you're there just like interrupting people and trolling and just you lot were doing a lot of like gaslighting and shit that wasn't cool, man. Especially aimed at me as well and just spreading lies and shit like that. So that's why you got banned. But anyway, man, this is just a quick one. Just to answer his question, and also for anyone else out here, if you're cool, you can join my Discord server, man. We got the main guy, also Canny is also in the server, and also a few other cool people, man. But yeah. Anyway, man. I was thinking, what should we do? Yeah, I wanted to also go back to the topic that we were talking about with you actually coming up. I think you got to when you said that you were 19, you were making a lot of money, you met this girl. I want to continue with that, but before we do that, is there anything you wanna quickly mention? Anything you wanna like talk about real quick before we go back to that? Or anything in the chat?
So let me continue on about buying a house real quick because I
Oh,
think
okay.
that this is important for you guys when you're younger.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Most house purchases require a large percentage down. We're talking 5 to 20%.
Yeah.
So what that means is that the house A has to be valued at what you're trying to loan on,
Mm.
and you have to have 5 to 20% of that money to put down.
Up front.
Now, there are some special things that you can do, some grants and stuff like that that you can get that help with that money.
Mm.
But when you're young, I strongly recommend trying to make sure that whatever you buy can almost be paid for out of pocket. So, say you need 20% to buy a $200,000 home.
Mm.
Is it possible for you to buy a workable home for $40,000
Mm.
that you can build to suit your needs? Because any home that you'll ever buy, you're going to need to change because it ain't going to be you. Like,
Mm.
you're going to want a different floor, different paint. Maybe you can buy a house that needs flooring and paint, which you're going to do to your new place anyways, but it's $160,000 less.
Okay.
And one way that you can do that here in the United States, I'm sure the UK has something similar,
Mm-hmm.
is through what's called land banks,
Mm.
or trust auctions.
Trust auctions.
So
But
like
what
estate
happens if I
sales,
don't
stuff
trust
like that.
auctions though?
Well, what I'm saying,
uh,
trust as in financial trust. That makes sense.
yeah, yeah. No, I was just
Like
joking.
estate
I was
sales,
trying to
stuff
do
like
like
that.
I was trying to make a bar because he said trust auctions, and then I said, what if I don't trust auctions? But yeah, no, carry on.
DTA, don't trust anybody.
That's the motto, man.
But yeah, those little methods and like I'm sure that there's a lot of people that'll cover real estate far better than I will. But what I do know is that I bought the house that I'm currently living in 3 years ago for $60,000. It's
Hmm.
worth 160 now. So I ain't losing.
Wow.
Do recommend buying over renting unless you intend on moving.
And
Like,
that is the first house you've ever bought, or was that like,
no, this is the third.
wow. That's that's a very that's a very so that's something me personally that I want to ask more about. But before we do, I think I want to go back to the previous conversation real quick, and
Yep.
also I want to talk to their chat, man. Everyone on Twitch who's listening to this, make sure you guys follow, share the stream with a friend. Just send it to a friend right now, man. Why not? Because I'm sure you're not getting any better podcast content than this on Twitch. And I also want to quickly ask in the chat, man. Now is your opportunity, guys. We're gonna go into also another set of questions. So if you guys want to ask some questions for Canny or me, probably should ask Kenny because he's achieved and he's done so much that can help a lot of people. But if you want to ask me questions as well, man, type a question now in the chat, guys. But yeah, in the meantime, if you guys want to ask questions, just let me know. I mean, just put it in the chat, and yeah, let's go back to the thing, man. What you were talking about, because I'm interested, man. So you said 19. You were like, so you said that's like you were making decent money from the mechanic thing, man. 19, and you stayed doing your thing, and then that story before we got cut off, you said you met this girl. Was it like is it fair to say you met the girl of your dreams? Would you put it like that? Because
That's what I thought. I
that's
mean, that
all.
ain't what it turned out to be, but that is definitely what I thought.
Yeah, and
Like,
okay.
if you had the hallmark picture perfect example of everything that you thought was going to happen, that's how it was rolling, but that is not what it turned out to be.
Yeah, and that's the thing because I think this will be very interesting. Like people will enjoy this conversation. So, you met her. You said online, right?
Yeah.
You met her online, and then can you repeat that part of what you said? Because I think the people would like to where you said the three type of people that you meet, like girls. You said like one is this, and then
Yeah, you have basically like what amounts to puppy love, and then you have the one that's just the wrong one period where like all the decisions made regarding that person is just one huge regret. Though I don't believe a lot in regrets, I believe that I have regretted some people in my life, letting
mm,
certain people in.
mm-hmm,
And then you have the actual right one. And
mm-hmm.
I'm with that one now, I do believe. Like I'm
Oh, that's
firmly planted on that idea.
no, that's it.
Um,
So which category does she fall into? The one that the one that we're talking about the before, the one where you said,
she's the third one, the one that stays for life. Like I
oh,
don't think if things went sour with me and her tomorrow, I don't think I'm finding another one that I would want to be with
mm-hmm,
long term. Like I think that would be the spoiler of
yeah.
women for me in general.
Nah, I hear that, man. And also, I want to go back to this because I like the timeline that we were talking about. So you said, okay, so you met this back you said you were 19, you met this girl, you thought she was the one, and then you said you were together for like what was it, 18 months, you said?
Yeah, it was well we had a long distance relationship that was about 2 years, and then it was about 18 months where she lived with me. We
Okay.
were at my parents' house, but my parents both worked out of state, so it was basically just me and her home alone all the time.
Okay.
Um I was working second shift, and she told me one day that she was going to go home and visit her parents, and uh come to find out, she had quit her job. There was another guy that she was texting that was back home, so she was looking for a lap to fall in, so to speak.
Okay.
And I
Before you
had bought
carry
her a
on.
car, so she took the car with her.
Wow. Wait, hold
And
on.
then she
Actually,
said,
I need to ask actually before you. So you said the main thing was it was a long distance relationship, right?
that turn close.
Oh, close.
Yeah, she ended up moving in with me after she graduated college.
Okay, so I want to quickly ask, do you think, because a lot of people say this, they say like long-term relationships never work. Like, what's your opinion on that?
I think that they can work.
Hmm.
Um, Hard to explain. There has to be a desire for that person to want to move. Like somebody's going to have to close the gap. I don't see people doing 10 years and talking on the phone every night, hoping
Of
that
course, yeah.
that person never. Because obviously, if you're going to spend that much time with them, you know how great they are. You know who they are. You know, like, other people would want that. And
Hmm.
eventually, somebody who's closer is gonna step into the shoes that you're wearing.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So you're gonna have to close that
So
gap and you're
how
gonna have to hope that things work out.
so how did you make it work? Because I know you said you were going back and forth, but what would you say is the main thing that you did to make it work? Because it seems like you did make it work, the long-term relationship that you had, long
So the
distance.
first thing that I had was a brand new truck and a whole lot of gas money.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
and I worked 410, so I worked 4 days out of the week, had 3 days off.
Oh, I love that.
So
Yeah.
so I could jump in a truck on a Wednesday, be back on Sunday, have spent most of the weekend with my girl, and
How
you
did that
know,
life? I want. How did that lifestyle? Because I know some people who do those kind of, like 4 days on, 3 days off. I feel like that's a very nice like balance, man. I'm sure you
I
enjoyed it.
I would work 220s if I could.
Yeah.
I want more days away from work,
Yeah.
which is what you think owning a business is not actually that.
Mm.
Not if you're a person that works in your business. I mean, you could
Mm.
hire other people to manage it for you and stuff, but
Yeah.
that's
You're always
another
there.
story.
You're always there, man. You know.
Yeah,
Nah.
the even when you go home, there's
It's, it
a
follows you.
thing
It
that
follows.
you're not next to that's having a problem.
Yeah. No, 100%, man. So, okay, cool. And how often were you always like making sure you're visiting? Like anytime you had off, you would just go and see her. Would you say that's the main, like that's what you were doing pretty much?
Yeah, I mean, that was basically the plan. Like every time I left, I was going to see her, and then, it was long drive in, long drive back.
How
But
long was the drive?
um range from 9 to 13 hours.
Wow. That's a long drive, man.
Yeah, it was basically
Shit.
all of the Pennsylvania Turnpike plus half of
Fuck.
my state.
So where were you
Um
again? You said, did you say New York? Or
uh, she was in Pennsylvania, but on the far side of Pennsylvania from me.
the far side of Pennsylvania? Okay, and you were in.
I was in Columbus, Ohio, basically.
Oh yeah, yeah. So Ohio to Pennsylvania. That's crazy, man. Man, and you didn't have any podcasts for these 10-hour drives. Like, what did you
No,
ever?
it was throw a CD in the radio and get moving.
Shit, that's crazy, man. All right, cool. All right, so okay, so you
At
made
that
that.
time, they still charged you minutes on cell phones. So I don't even want to talk about how many minutes I
Shit.
spent that was money wasted at 10 cents a minute.
So you were on the phone with her while you were driving to.
Well, I mean, every day.
Oh shit. Okay.
Like
Man.
I spent somebody else's life savings just doing that. It was stupid. And the long and
Wow.
short, at that time frame, it was pretty dumb.
Well, I want to make people feel like involved as well in this conversation. If you don't mind, Kenny, like, would you mind if like people ask as we're talking about anything, you don't mind if people
Yeah,
asking questions about that as well as me? You don't mind that?
I give you everything but names and addresses.
No, of course. Yeah, man. Because I feel like this is okay. It's cool. So all right, let's go. So let's go to the next thing of the next step. So okay, cool. So you were together for like 18ish months, and then so what happened after that, man? So you said you realized it wasn't working now, and then you did mention there was like another guy and stuff like that. So do you wanna, if you wanna like carry on with that, like what was like
So
the first turning point? Hmm.
my takeaway was that she had gotten homesick, but she was also looking to not be alone when she got back home. So she was looking for options. And
Mm.
when I found out that she was looking for options, I ended up telling her that like she wasn't gonna leave, be there 2 weeks, and then come back, and then
Wait,
like
what do you
repeat
mean?
this cycle. You know what I mean? We're not gonna do this cycle.
What do you mean when you say that?
Like where she would leave me, tell me she's leaving me, and then
Uh,
like you can't build with somebody that's checking out 2 weeks at
oh,
a
of
time
course, yeah,
every
yeah, yeah.
18 months or whatever,
What?
because
So,
that's not stability.
how did you find out that she was doing? Did she tell you, or did like how did that happen?
She had left an old cell phone at the house, and it lit up, and it was a message from a guy, and there was like "Good morning, sweetie" text coming from her. So
Oh,
this isn't like a random guy that was
fuck.
messaging, but she had left the phone when she left. And I was like, no, you know what? Spend 6 months there, figure out if I'm important enough or if I'm not.
Yeah.
And then, like, once that 6 months was up, I kind of had checked out
Mm.
because, like,
Mm.
I haven't trusted you for the last 6 months. Supposed to,
Yeah.
like, let you back in and trust you again.
Mm.
It cost me a car for me to let you go. It
Yeah.
damn near cost me a house.
Yeah, man. That's crazy. Because you did say that you bought her a car and you were you were planning your life like around being together. In as
Yeah,
yeah.
and then that person is not reliable, and I think there's a lot to be said about women that speak, peace into your life and
Mm.
are 100% in. I mean, if you were to go rob a bank right now and your woman isn't driving the car, I just don't know what you're doing. Not that I'm intending to rob a bank, but I just like we're together, we're partners. You're my number one.
Yeah.
If I can't come to you with every problem that I have and you're not reliable, then there is no point in us
Yeah.
continuing.
Yeah. I'm gonna delete the stream just in case that ever happens, so they don't use it as evidence against you. But uh,
They'll never catch me. The mountain might get me, but the law never will.
but yeah, man. So what happened after that? So you ended things. Wait, was that us? So you said after you found out. Well, like let's quickly talk about what was like your. I know it's like must have been very like obviously very painful and everything. But what was like your instant reaction when you found out? Like, did you confront her straight away? Like, what was your reaction and like how did you kind
Man,
of?
I ain't gonna lie, I crashed pretty hard. I uh
Mm,
I left into a pool of depression and self-hate and
mm,
doubt, and because you think that you've been making months
mm,
of good decisions,
mm,
and turns out they're all bad.
mm.
Um, what is life
Yeah,
starts to
yeah,
become like there was many times where I thought about ending things, you know,
yeah.
literally,
Mm,
but I
mm,
was concerned with who would find me,
mm,
and the whole inside of me, I didn't know what to fill it with because it like I went on a long strand of womenizing and you
mm.
know basically everything that moved, you
Everything
know,
that moved.
having sex with everything, like
That's usually the type of
drinking.
revenge. That's usually the type of revenge that like guys go through when that happens. Kind of like if
I
you want to
was
call it
I was
revenge.
I was drinking a lot,
Yeah.
um, and a lot of women, a lot
Wait, I
of
wanna.
women.
Did that affect your career or that kind of lifestyle? Would you say, or were you still like focused on your thing and or?
Well, I've always been a natural insomniac, so I don't really sleep much.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think what I would call it is your give a damn being broken. I just didn't give a damn. I didn't care. Like when you're working high value jobs, regardless of whether that's a physical job or a typewriting job,
Mm-hmm.
you have to care. And if you don't care, then you're not going to maintain it. And I just didn't care. It was me. It was
Mm-hmm.
a me problem.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I let her cause it, but it was me that I checked out. I didn't care enough to maintain it.
Mm.
So,
I want to quickly ask. So, with what you just said now, is there anything you would have done differently, if that situation, like if you go back and like now that you think about it and you got experience, do you think something that you kind of regret, or something you would have done differently?
I don't necessarily see a road where I end up where I'm at now that doesn't lead through those failures.
Mm, that's a good
And
answer.
I'm happy with where I am now,
Mm.
even though some not advantageous things have happened. I mean, nobody wants cancer.
Mm.
Nobody wants that.
Mm.
But at the same time, I wouldn't be me today without it happening.
Mm.
So, I mean, I don't really believe in regrets. I mean, I might regret letting some people into my world
Mm.
when things were looking so up, but I'm so happy with the woman that I have today,
Yeah.
the things that I have today, the
Mm.
opportunities I have today.
Mm.
I'm still glad that I have my parents with me to enjoy another Christmas.
Yeah.
And I still got at least one of my best friends, and
Mm.
I got a host of guys that, like, in a small town, I met a lot of friends. It's like 40 of them, and we still got 28 of us, and I'm still glad there's 28 of us here.
Mm.
And do I wish I could change a few things? Maybe. Would I call them regrets? I don't think I would,
Yeah. Nah.
because I,
100.
I think that it changes the story.
No. 100%, man. Yeah. Also, I want to remind people as well that we, now that we're doing this podcast on Twitch, if there's any good parts that you guys, or any stuff you want to remember, whatever, make sure you guys make sure you clip things. So when you click on the clip on Twitch, it makes like a highlight, quick 30 seconds or 60 seconds. And then you guys can post it on my Discord in the Abs Clips channel. So then the best parts of this podcast, we can always go back and listen to. Then I can send it to Canny as well. And maybe we can make some highlights of like the best parts. So yeah, man, if there's anything that you guys see that you think is clip worthy, make sure you guys clip things, because it will also help me, because when I go back on the Twitch stream, I can easily see like the top things that people liked. So yeah, I'm not sure if you're familiar with that feature, Canny, but it's a really sick feature from Twitch where you can clip things. I don't know if you know about that.
I am not familiar with 12, but I do intend on some point doing some gaming. I'm in the process of building a PC for that purpose.
Yeah, nah, sick, man. So okay, cool. So where so you were talking about the thing, like how you like dealt with it, and okay, so after that, what like if we go back on the timeline, so what happened after that? So you ended things, and then yeah, what would you say is like happens next? Or
So
maybe it's better if I'm able to ask, how did you actually end things? Like, was it like a phone call? You just said you don't want to do this anymore. Did you try to maybe give her like another chance? Did she kind of like say kind of sorry, like, or like what was the situation before we move on to the next? I'm just like curious.
to me, it was like we were still talking every night at one point, and then it was just like, oh, the last conversation was, she said, "Hey," the end of the last conversation was, "Hey, I'm pulling up at my mom and dad's house. I need to get off the phone."
Mm.
And that was the first time I had ever heard her say that she needed to get off the phone with me to go into her parents' house, who I knew,
Yeah.
and we both liked each other.
So was this after she got caught? Or, was that after she got caught? I think we're lagging a bit.
It sounds like your volume went down, really.
Yeah, I think I was lagging. What, can you hear me better?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I asked you, was that after she got caught or was that before?
This was kind of after. I think that she realized that I wasn't into her having talking to another dude, but I also wasn't there to confirm or deny what she was doing. I don't know what she's doing, but what I did realize was that if you need to get off the phone with me to walk into your parents' house, who they know, like I know them, like
Yeah,
I've met them, I've spent
yeah,
weeks around them. Why would they not want you on the phone with me?
yeah. So did that
And
raise
I
like some red
realized that
flags
if,
in your head?
yeah, I realized that if that was even a thought in my head, that this wasn't a thing that could continue.
Yeah, nah, I feel you, man. Real quick, I don't want to leave like too many gaps because I want it to also be very interactive as well, even though we had these like story times, which is great.
Absolutely.
Real quick, Liam says, "Who was that guy that you fought?" That's one of the guys, bro, in my boxing league, London Fight Club. He's one of. He had more fight and ring experience than me, man. He says the guy I fought was spamming random buttons. Man, that's funny. I've heard some funny jokes, but we'll talk about that, man. If you guys want to ask me about my first boxing fight and stuff like that, I'll give you guys some details. But we have a question before we carry on with the Canny story. Let's go to more questions. So if you guys want to ask some questions, but first of all, we have Shady Slim says, "What is your biggest regrets?" And then we'll go to
I
Liam.
really just don't think that I have a lot of regrets. I wish that, like I said a name by the name of Jesse Mercer, who's a friend of mine that I lost a couple years ago, and I wish that I would have known the level of trouble that he was going through at the time, so that I could have stepped into that.
Mhm.
But I don't necessarily know that that's like my regret or my burden to carry. So
Sorry,
I
can you
don't
repeat
really
that?
know.
Sorry, I didn't catch. So you said something with your friend, and what happened? What was the?
So there's a very long story attached to that, and I think that one day we'll have to get into it. But effectively, I had a friend that passed away. Um,
Mhm.
Cops say it was suicide, but it's very much so wasn't. Either way, I
Okay.
wish that I would
Sorry
have
to.
involved myself enough to have pulled him out of that hole
Mm,
and dealt with it.
sorry to hear that, man. Yeah.
I don't wish that anybody ever be
Mm,
that lonely or in that headspace, or even
100%.
allow another person to take those steps for them, which I feel is what happened.
No, 100%. And even with the stuff that you like that particular thing that you just mentioned, I've now in my head I've got a few things that I want to ask as well. But before we do that, let's go. I want to also remind everyone on Twitch. Make sure you guys follow the stream. We're nearly at 3K followers. Make sure you guys ask some questions, man. This is your opportunity, guys, to ask questions to me or Canny. And just a quick, long story short intro. Canny has done a lot. He's someone who's in the Discord, and we always have good conversations, and that's why I thought to do this podcast, man. I want to do it every quite often. So yeah, man. Make sure you guys drop a follow as well. So we have another question from Liam. Who's your biggest inspiration in the industry you are in? Actually, no, sorry, that's the other one. There was another question. Wait, what was the other? Was there? Wait, wasn't there another question from Liam?
To my knowledge, he had asked that earlier, but we had answered it. Um,
Maybe he didn't catch it because I thought he asked another question. Yeah, Liam. Did you have a? I think. Oh yeah, you just re-asked.
oh,
Go on.
re-asking for your answer.
Oh, for mine is you. Okay, cool. So yeah, but I answered that question as well. Nah, it was only that. What did you say? Yeah, yeah. Oh, you didn't get. Oh, so maybe he exited out the stream for a bit, then he came back, so he didn't hear what we said. You wasn't here. Okay, no worries, man. This is why we need to clip things, so then when people are not here, we can just like send them the clip, be like, yo, this. But yeah, man. Do you want to quickly, because you already talked about it, do you want to quickly just maybe for Liam, kind of like do a quick summary?
Reiterate.
Hmm.
Basically, I've had a lot of inspirations in the automotive industry, and they're continue to evolve.
Hmm.
The first would have been my dad, who was the biggest. My dad will always be my hero for everything I do.
Hmm.
Um, and actually, he's my stepdad, so that turns into a whole other story, man. I got a lot.
A lot of stories, man.
Um,
Kenny is the story man.
so my dad would have been the biggest and the first. But then I also had several friends that became partners to the situation. And then I had a teacher by the name of Tom Chance, who's still teaching at Fairfield Career Center,
Hmm.
and Mike Bussey, who, to my knowledge, is still working at a dealership. That were all real good to me. And then a
Hmm.
guy by the name of David Johnson, who was the guy that taught me diesel mechanics.
Wow.
So with every step, there was definite pay grades increasing the entire time.
Bro, that's the number one thing you always get from, like people you're inspired by, the people that you look up to. You always learn something and, elevate, you know? No, 100%. You know, what was like because that diesel thing that you mentioned, man, that sounds very complicated. Would you say it's very like it is complicated, or once you like learn what you know, what you need to learn, it's like simple because you got a lot of experience.
So I've now worked on a vast number of things. I've worked on everything from a steel chainsaw to a 140-foot crane. But
Wow.
when I was working on cars, everything was so tight and small, and I'm not a little guy.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Ah,
so I'm like
cool.
6'4", 280 right now.
Wow. Okay.
Like I'm not a little guy, but when you're working on little Toyotas, they're little. I don't really fit. So it kind of got a lot easier because I could fit.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Um. Yeah, man. Give me, bro. Can you give me about just a few minutes? I'm just need to quickly go to the kitchen. If you wanna answer questions or have a chat with, talk to the chat, I'll be back in about 3 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll break after you do because I just got to go get another drink.
Okay. Cool. Cool. All right. Give me a
So
sec,
pull you up
guys.
a picture of the most expensive vehicle I've worked on, which isn't a car.
Give me one sec, guys.
I'm gonna see if I can pull you up a picture of it. I work on this. It's a $1 million RV. Literally, like, paid like 1.6 million for it, and my average call to this guy's house is about $10,000. But I gotta find a picture of it. Here is one. Uh, a car that we pulled out of a barn. It won a car show. It's a '63 Buick. That's my mom and dad standing in front of it. I'm trying to find more pictures for you guys. In all honesty, I haven't taken a lot of pictures of some of this stuff, which I probably should be doing more of it. I'm gonna scroll way back. But I have worked on a McLaren, a couple Ferraris, a couple Lamborghinis. But I find that most of the stuff that I like doing is older cars. So I did for another millionaire customer a '63 DeSoto Fire Dome. Here's the only picture I can find right at the moment of, and it's in the background. But if you guys can see that RV that's in the background, hopefully I'm showing up. I'm waiting for the lag to go away. The RV that's in the background of that is a $1 million RV. Literally has a mobile dentist office in it also. The thing is absolutely nuts. Uh, let's see. What is the most important thing needed to become successful? Needed to become successful in any field. The first thing that I think is like the big thing is the willingness to outwork others. Our world is very, very competitive. And the number one thing that can separate you from any other individual is your ability to put out work, whatever that work is. It almost doesn't matter what that work is, but you have to do better than the others around you. The top 10% will always have a job, and I don't care what job it is. They can pull out a robot to replace everyone in a McDonald's, but that top 10% will always have a job. So whatever field it is that you're in, and 10 on being in that top 10%. Do you charge more if the car is more expensive? No, actually, I don't charge any more for more expensive vehicles. Um, but I do make sure I get 100% of all of my money all the time. The hourly or the rates are different as far as the number of hours it takes to do specific jobs. So, oil change on a normal car might be 4/10. An oil change on a um, Porsche Carrera GT might be 6 hours. So I'll get the 6 instead of the less than half an hour. If that makes sense. Um, so that means that in a half hour, that would put like $60 in my. That's $700. Um, the rates on the RV, that the same rates on that RV are the same even for like working on a normal semi truck, like a freight liner or Peter, of hours that are geared towards, you know, takes this long to replace a water pump or whatever. But then there's some jobs where they're custom, and then it pays me straight hourly at that same rate. There's also mileage charges for vehicles that I have to drive to, which when I last did most of my service work was 150 a mile. And then the truck that I drove got 24 miles per gallon, which was like $3 a gallon for gas for that 24 miles. So my cost would have been like $8 per gallon of gas, including wear and tear. But for that $8, I made like $35. So that 8 was the cost and 35 was my take home. So I'd make like, 25 bucks in profit off of every gallon of gas that went into my service truck. Any other questions you guys got?
Yo, I'm back. Sorry about that.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back.
It's a classic, man. Yeah, man. So what's been happening since I've been gone?
Not a whole lot. I answered your last
Oh
two
yeah.
questions there.
Oh yeah, I was
I'm gonna
watching them.
run in and grab myself a nice cherry Pepsi.
Nice, man.
So I'll be right.
All right, cool. Yeah, man. So if anyone has any questions while Kenny takes a quick break, any questions or want to talk about anything, man, here's your chance, mate. Here's your chance, mate. Let's talk about it, man. Shout out to Athenio55. Thanks for the follow, bro. Appreciate it, man. Gonna eat my fucking yogurt, mate. Eat my fucking yogurt, mate. Welcome back. Oh, that is so sick. I got a sick idea, man. I actually just got the sickest idea, bro. Hey, man, listen. Anyone in the chat, if you lot got any questions, we're doing a podcast, self-help. Not really self-help, but just talking about life, man. So if you lot got any questions for me or Canny, yeah, man. Or just, if you want to talk about something, now's your chance, bro. I got my protein bar. Bro, I can't wait to fight again, man. Looking forward to 2023. If you lot haven't seen my first boxing fight, I had my first fight in September. Was it September? But that's the link right there in the Twitch chat. If you lot are new, make sure you guys drop a follow right now. We're nearly at 3K followers. I think Kenny is back, man. Shout out to the boy. Actually,
I don't know what winning is right now.
Huh? Say that again.
I didn't even ask for it. This is what we.
What's that? A slice of
This is
pizza?
what we call winning.
Yo, winning in life, man. How did you get that? Where'd that come from?
My wife.
That's how you know you found the right one. You made the right choice, Kenny. That's how you know.
Bro, I got a whole ham in there, scalloped potatoes, green bean
Where's
casserole,
mine?
pizza, cookies.
Where's mine?
Come
Uh,
get it.
oh man, I thought you were trying to live that healthy life though, Kenny. What happened to the strict
Shit,
diet?
that don't count on Christmas.
Oh yeah, it is Christmas. Oh yeah, no. Oh yeah. Also, I forgot today is Christmas, man. I think that's actually a special, like, kind of milestone, man. Because this is our, I guess you could call this our first official, like, podcast we did. Because last one was more of like a test. But I think that's a good milestone for us where we launched it in a way, and it's Christmas, man. So we always know we started on Christmas, and hopefully we do stick to it, man. You know.
Absolutely.
No, and with that being said,
And
man,
I'm
go
and
on.
I'm definitely down for that.
Yeah, I like it. The format so far, I like how it's going. I like the interactions, man. It's been sick, man. And I wanted to ask you real quick. I had a question stuck in my head. So, because also this was like kind of a thing that we've been talking about for a while, just doing like these podcasts. Is there anything that you wanna? Is there any like topics that you wanna like cover in general, or was it more just like what I kind of had in mind, where it's just like just having a conversation, talking about everyday things, people asking questions, or was there anything that you wanted to like kind of specifically focus on, or?
I mean, I'm cool with going down the rabbit hole. I think that that there's a little bit to learn from my mistakes, and I think that exposing those mistakes, a lot of people wouldn't do that.
Mm,
So I'm open for that.
mm. So you talk about the mistakes. So do you think maybe? Yeah, I think that's a good like, because I was thinking when we do continue with this, it'll be cool to find like a name, like a catchy name for the podcast. So like on the top of my head, maybe like stuff like just quick ideas like ask a veteran, because you're at this point, man. Maybe you can call yourself a veteran in life, man, because you've been through a lot, man. So something like maybe we can like try to brainstorm some ideas of like a name, maybe like you know what I mean. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I'm sure we'll come up with something. I know that town hall was fitting for like your little Discord server,
Mm,
um,
mm,
but I also know that that blends to a lot of things. So
mm-hmm.
we'll find something that's fitting
Yeah. Well, no, we'll come up with
for other
something.
platforms.
No, 100%, man. And for the also like, sorry, man. A lot of people are like just joining in all the time, like coming in and out of this stream. If you guys are new, man, just so you know, this is something new that me and my boy Canny. Actually, sorry, I want to ask: is there like you don't mind being called Canny? Because I know I made that mistake at the start because I thought it was Canny, but it's actually Can I Be Me? Was there a different way that you want people to like address you? Is there like, or you don't mind?
It's also familiar to like a lot of the people that I play games with and stuff. They just call me Can if that suits you better.
What do they call you? Can?
Yep.
Okay, Can. Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, cool. We'll go Can. Okay, no worries. Yeah, man. So if you guys got any questions that you want to ask me or Can, Canny sounds cooler, man. Can I call you Canny? Or
Yeah, I could also be uncanny, like the Uncanny X-Men. I'm cool with whatever. Just
yeah,
don't call me late for dinner.
yeah. Nah, man. Actually, I might. Yeah, I'll try to figure something out. But yeah, man. So if anyone's got any questions, for me or Canny, yeah, let me know, man. So anyway, what was the? Do we have any more questions in the chat?
Pizza's delicious, by the way.
Man, it looks good, man.
Barbecue chicken, highly recommend.
Barbecue chicken, man. This is why I need to get married, man. This is why I can't be living this single life, man. I can't be living this single life, man. So actually, because I actually had a few questions in my head actually regarding like stuff like this, man. I think this is actually a thing where a lot of people can relate, and so on that topic, is there any like what is your biggest advice when it comes to females, women, females, whatever you want to address it as, but like because a lot of people, man, have a lot like struggle when it comes to the opposite sex. So what would you say is your top, if maybe you have like a top three, top things when it comes to females?
So the biggest thing that I can tell people, especially men, uh, around your guys' age, is that don't think that failure is not an option. You
Mm,
can always fail. It's expected. Men failing often. The idea is that you fail upwards and you learn from
yeah.
every time that you do it.
Uh,
So if you ask out 20 women,
mm.
probably two of them gonna say yes.
I love
But the
that.
18 hurt a lot, but they shouldn't.
They shouldn't.
Like they shouldn't.
Hmm.
It's you learning what your place is and what you accept and what the other person accepts. So I mean, I couldn't even tell you the number of girls that I've asked out. I mean, that's like regardless of who I betted down or whatever. You're never gonna bat 1,000%. And if you're
Acts.
waiting on signals that tell you you are,
Yeah.
you're gonna wait a lot.
A hundred
So
percent.
you might as well.
Yeah, I was actually talking to my friends. Bro, I was having this conversation with some of my close friends, man, and I want to yeah, let's have like a little conversation because it's more like light-hearted. But so what would you say like back in your day? Because at one point you did mention that you were going crazy, like you were just going out with a lot of girls, you were doing your thing, you were out here. What was like your number one kind of method, or maybe not number one, but like what was like your techniques, or like did you have any techniques like ways that you would meet different girls or kind of get them? Do you have like a, because I feel like everyone has their thing where they find a way to like approach girls. Like what was your main thing, or like if you know what I mean?
Now this is incriminating.
I'm sure people will,
So
will like to know, man. Come on, chat. I'm
people
sure people here.
were more relaxed 10 years ago.
Mm, yeah.
But um, I had a slew of pickup lines depending on where I was going. But I feel like the one that probably should and also shouldn't be shared is once upon a time with too many drinks in a dimly lit bar, I walked up to a girl that I kind of knew,
Mm,
and I whipped my thing out and asked her if it was too big for my body,
no way.
and it works.
You actually did that.
But yeah, yeah, and it's kind of like not the proudest moment now, but it's kind of a funny story. But I've seen some crazy things work, man. But the number one thing that always works is hi. My name is like
Yeah.
there's not really a secret 100% thing that works. If you got something funny, sorry, let it fly. Um, and chances are, if you can get a girl to laugh, you can get her to give you her number. It's actually also now easier because you can be like, hey, my name is, whatever. I saw you from across the room. You're so beautiful. And it would kill me if I didn't see your IG. And I've
Mm,
seen like the Tates talk about like, yeah, but if she follows you back, you know that you're in.
mm,
That's absolutely a thing that would work.
yeah.
But I don't know of any 100% foolproof things
No,
that
of
you're going to
course.
be able to do to get every woman. But what I can tell you is if you accept the fact that failure is an option and you're not afraid of it, you can succeed so much more because you're building a foundation based off those failures.
Mm,
You're learning things. You know, maybe you're learning, hey, this joke I had isn't so funny because the other person doesn't pick it up.
mm-hmm.
You know, and time over time, you build your own situation that works for you. And I strongly recommend everyone do that.
No, 100%. What about like did you have like your like specific places where you would meet where you meet girls? Was it usually just like nights out, like bars, or did you have like Any other usual places?
So I have a lot of friends that in a small town that I used to hang out in all the time. They called us the family. So everybody knew the the men that were the family. They would still call us brothers. Like people would know us by the family. So I could walk into a place where I didn't know anyone, and there might be 15 girls hanging out with the boys. And all of those girls are more or less free range, except for the ones that's got rings or holding hands or whatever. Like you're gonna know who's paired to who. So there was always an option every time I went anywhere because my group spoke so highly of me. And
Wait,
I feel like if you
I'm kind of
if
lost.
you
Wait.
can manage, what's
So
that?
you said the place was called the Family, or what? Can you explain that bit again?
That's like my group of friends. They actually call us the family.
And you said
So
you had a
like
big
we,
group of friends. Was it like you said 15 people?
yeah, it's like 40 guys, like
Wow.
40 dudes, and there are also girls that they would call sisters and we're brothers. You
Okay.
know, it's a little bit of a weird situation, but there's like 40 of us,
Okay.
and because you're already networked so wide, you know, maybe one guy brings like 6 girls with him or whatever. So there's instantly
That
just
that's already easy
a
because
group that you're with.
yeah, like it's just having a network, just that meeting people through others. That's yeah, man.
Yeah, or I
Let's do
could
it.
be like, I could throw up on Facebook, hey, I'm bored tonight. I got a tank full of gas. Who wants to go do something? And you might have, you know, 2 or 3 girls hit your DMs,
Yeah.
you know, because they know that you're looking to do something and they see you out every weekend having
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
You
You want to
know,
be part of it.
they're gonna want to chip into it.
Yeah. Yeah. Mhm.
I think that it becomes more of a thing of who you build more meaningful connections with after the first date, because the first date was never really hard to get. I mean, except for my wife, of course, she was hard to get a first date with. She was too busy for me. And then eventually she
I'm,
needed
I'm
her
int-
car fixed.
okay. I'm actually interested in that. I want to ask about that, but in a sec. If anyone's got any questions for me or Canny, let me know right now in the chat. It's our first official podcast. So yeah, let me know if anyone's got any questions, want to talk about anything. I'm gonna quickly go to the kitchen. Just give me 1 minute. But yeah, if anyone's got any questions, and I'll be back in a second.
Otherwise, I'll give you some ASMR of me eating barbecue chicken pizza. But where's everybody at? Where's everybody from? How was your Christmas? Mine was great. What's up over in Canada? So if Christmas was usual, did you get everything you asked Santa Claus for?
Yo, I'm back. Sorry about that. Yeah, man, this is the thing with these live podcasts, man. You know,
Over your food,
sometimes,
bub.
sometimes we're gonna have to go to the kitchen. You know, it's not these edited professional pods. I mean, it's professional, but you know, this is the part of the business, man. Anyway, yo, we got some new people here. Yo, what's good, my guy? XV, good to see you, bro. He says I'm from Canada. Yeah, man. Actually, everyone in the chat right now, everyone say where you're from. Everyone in the chat right now, we would like to know where you guys are from. So say where you're from right now in the chat. Shout out to Canada. Shout out to Liam. Christmas was
What's
the
up,
usual.
Liam?
Someone said, "Are you a Trump supporter?" No, I don't support anyone. Not even
I
myself.
mean,
Actually, I do support myself, but that's the only person.
I wouldn't say necessarily that I'm a supporter, but here in the U.S., I am now seeing a lot of gaping holes that we're leaving, and it's a crazy time and place. Just say that.
Yo, wait, I always, bro, bro, I feel like there's always like a new fucking, every day there's like a new president in the US. I'm losing track. Who is the current president now in the US?
It's every 4 years. President Biden.
So it's still Biden. I thought Biden got like, I thought he like left and there was someone new, no?
Not until 2024.
Okay, who do you think is going to be next? Do you think what people saying true is going to be Kanye?
I
Kanye
don't think it's
West.
going to be Kanye. Um, I I kind of think Trump or DeSantis has a pretty good shot at winning, because I don't see anybody supporting Trump or supporting Biden again.
Why? I don't want to get too political, but if real quick, can you say why? Why do you think like Biden wouldn't be like supported again?
So inflation is very, very high,
Mm,
and the U.S. dollar runs a lot of the entire world.
mm-hmm.
So it's actually part of trade deals that we've made with like Saudi Arabia and some other OPEC nations,
Uh-huh.
that everyone uses the US dollar to buy oil. And
Not me. No,
so,
I'm joking.
say you're in England
Yeah.
and you want to go to a gas station, that chain goes from OPEC nations, which is where all the oil comes from that most of us are using, with the exclusion of what's produced locally. And then it goes through your government to a company, then to you. The US dollar is used from your government to the oil company to buy the oil. So when the US prints an excessive amount of money for the amount of money that's in circulation, so say we print 10% more money,
Mm-hmm.
it becomes 20% more inflation, and other countries don't realize that our money dictates your inflation also.
Yeah.
So if we print dollars and you have US dollars, you have $1 million US dollars, and we print a
Yeah.
million, we just halved your dollar.
That's crazy because in the UK, right now, the economy and the inflation is fucked up right now, man. I think it's the lowest it's been, like, and I think that's related to what you're talking about.
Right.
Maybe that's the reason. I'm voting for Kanye
And
West, man.
then the other thing is we had like the pipeline that the Nord Stream pipeline that got blown up. Now the US is supplying that oil difference, and like we should have been doing that already anyways. It shouldn't have had anything to do with Russia. Like, we're boys, aren't we? Like, if we're boys and you live next door and you need a cup of sugar and you don't come to me, I got a problem.
Yeah. Now, shout out to we said we got a few people here, man. Once again, shout out to XV. Yo, my boy, what's good, bro? I've got time. It's good to see you, bro. How you been, man? How's the rapping going? Unless I'm thinking of someone else. Quickly, let's just catch up with the chat before we carry on. I'm from Canada. Christmas was the usual. Liam says, wait, XV says it's super cold. I didn't ask for much, just more gave to others. Hey, man, that's vibes, bro. That's what it's all about, man.
Peace for the givers in the chat.
Yo, yeah, W in the chat. Liam said it's gonna be Trump again. You think so? You actually serious? And then also we got.
I think that he's got a very good shot. I think it's either going to be him or Ron DeSantis. Um, we have such a polarized political landscape right now that it's very sad that it can only be one of two. Because
Yeah.
I don't think that in a lot of cases we're not getting the best option, and the only reason that Trump did as well as he did was he refused to kind of be bought out. Like, I think that there's a couple other people that might make sense that it seems like half the world hates, one of which is Elon Musk, and the other one is eventually Mr. Beast has recently said that he looks to try to become president when he's in his 40s.
Everyone wants to be president now, man.
That's crazy.
Wait, do you think didn't Elon Musk say he wants to be president as well?
People have said they want Elon to become president.
That's crazy. What do you think about that? Like, yo, actually, let me talk to the chat. What do you guys think that I don't know. What do you guys think about that in chat as well? But yeah, also Kenny, like,
So I think that Trump is 79 years old now.
mm,
Biden is 80. I
mm,
think that we need less really old men
yeah,
running our countries. Like,
yeah,
it doesn't make sense to me that at this point in time, the things that we know, we still have not legalized marijuana, but we've got
mm,
some of the drugs that are legal currently are just crazy. Um,
mm,
but that's not one of them. And it's a thing that people have leaned on for years to get off of other drugs. So federally, I think it should just be legalized, not decriminalized, legalized.
mm.
Um, and it's crazy to me that like some of the things just they should have already happened 20 years ago, and we're still so far behind. And maybe that's because we have 80 years running the country.
Yeah. Yo, I've got time says Biden's a sleeper, Sleepy Joe. Liam says Trump gives out stimmies too. That's another reason why people. What does that mean? Um, Liam says if we was voted for president, then every country would declare war with America. If yay, oh yeah, if Kanye was voted for president, then every country would declare war with America, including
Well,
NATO.
I got bad news about declaring war against America, especially if you're NATO, because the U.S. is 90% of NATO.
Wait, one second.
And do the craziest things. Do I own guns? Yes, I own several.
You said you own several.
Yes, several.
Nice. So it's legal in Ohio.
Yeah.
Mm.
One of the guns that I currently have, the one that I told you I was working on earlier, they're trying to do something with them to where you have to register them differently.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's an AR pistol, but they want you to register it as a short barrel rifle,
Okay.
which requires a tax stamp and that kind of stuff.
Is there a lot of
But
crimes in Ohio?
um, I don't know where we rate at murder history and statistics and stuff like that, but I do know that I think it was Cincinnati was like the 13th dangerous city in the U.S., which Cincinnati's kind of far away.
Uh,
We've had a lot of shootings and
but since
teenagers here in the last couple of years, which is kind of crazy.
no, that's actually crazy because I remember like one of my favorite fighters at the time because I'm into boxing. Wait, real quick. Does anyone in the chat? Is anyone in the chat into boxing or MMA? But I always remember Adrian Broner. He used to always talk about Cincinnati in Ohio, and he used to always say that place is crazy, man. So I'm guessing
Yeah,
it's true. Like it is actually
Cincinnati and Dayton is kind of rough. I was born in Dayton,
okay.
and they're kind of rough. Like Columbus is, it takes 60 miles to drive around Columbus, so you can be in a millionaire neighborhood like 1 minute,
Mm,
and then be in like $50,000 homes the next.
wow.
So like you can cross a bridge and go from like houses costing 10 times more than what the houses do on one side of the bridge and they do the other.
Mm-hmm. No, that's crazy, man. But what would
And
you
it's kind
say?
of what's even stranger is that the crime doesn't cross the bridge like that.
The crime doesn't cross the bridge.
Yeah, people might be shooting each other 2 blocks away, but they won't move that 2 blocks.
That's crazy, man. What would you say is the like? So you said you lived in Cincinnati.
I- I've spent significant time in Cincinnati.
Okay, what was like the craziest thing you've seen while you were there?
Um, well, some of the craziest things I've seen here in Columbus, like it's probably 6 houses down. There was a shootout like a couple of weeks ago from where I
Hmm.
live right now, and I don't live in a bad neighborhood.
Wow. Like inside the house, there was a shootout.
I was out in the street,
Oh
and they
shit.
come running. One of the guys come running through my yard.
Shit. No, that's crazy, man. Why do you think it's so bad in Cincinnati? Like, is there like a general reason? Is there like what is it?
So generally, what you have, like the same thing's happening in Detroit. For many years, we had a huge automotive like empires that were, and there was lots of jobs and lots of jobs. People fill those jobs, and eventually, when those jobs trickle away, you have a lot of people that don't have like a positive future, and then we're also losing positive male role models in households, and we have a government that supports that too. Like, let's say, let's say there's a man and a woman, and they're not married,
Mm-hmm.
and they have two or three kids together, and then the man loses his job. Well, if
Mm.
they go to try to get social help, what actually ends up happening is the government will say, well, we could help you, but the man's still living in the house and not help.
Mm.
And if you bring this up to anybody that's in the government, they'll say that's not true. But in my case, it was absolutely true. You know, was it like 15 years ago?
Mm.
Because when I tried to go get help when I lost my job and was on the outs back in '08, like there was no help coming. It was not a positive situation.
Mm.
So
So what did you do?
I can I could see where people losing that positive male role model in households is affecting people.
Mm.
And if you look at crime statistics, they support the same thing. Like households where there's not an adult male in the house helping to develop those children, especially boys, they have higher rates of self-ending,
Yeah.
higher rates of violent crimes, higher rates of SA type crimes.
What is the
Like
most
it's
dangerous?
crazy.
What would you say is like the most dangerous parts of the US right now? If you had maybe like on the top of your head, what is like the top three most dangerous regions or cities or states in the US right now? As someone like from who's not there,
Chicago,
yeah.
Chicago, Illinois is basically like they're on the cusp of a lot of bad things there. Um, Washington D.C. I believe is pretty bad.
Hmm.
Detroit's pretty bad. New York's pretty bad,
But isn't that
and a
crazy
lot of
how you
these.
said Washington D.C. I don't know if that's kind of ironic, but that's where that's where the White House is, and then you're telling me that's
That's
very
yeah,
dangerous.
yeah. That's where the White House is. Like
That's
you can get mugged in the shadow of the White House,
wow, serious.
and like when you're on Twitter or whatever, you'll notice that like Democrats and stuff they get pushed a lot in like every form of social media. But
Hmm.
every one of these places that I just named are Democratic strongholds. So even
Mm.
if like you have to see a problem with that eventually,
Yeah.
but the world doesn't see a problem with it. Like it's strange. Like it's ignoring the issue and has been for 10 years.
That's crazy, man.
I would also say that like there was a big change in the United States when like the towers got hit, like the twin towers on 9/11.
Yeah.
Like man, I wish that everyone could have experienced the America that I knew 3 days before that. Like it was a great
Was
like
it
the
a
greatest
big
place to be.
difference? Was it like a very, very big difference?
I think so. Like I felt like everything was so positive and everything was on a huge upswing. Like
Hmm.
we were winning big. Like
Yeah.
it,
So
nothing
you
like
would
it.
say that is a start of the situation with the towers. That's the start of where things started to go downhill, you would say.
Yeah, I think that it shook the world a little bit and people realizing that they could be touched. And I think that like year over year we're seeing that these politicians they continue to make the same wrong turns regardless of what it does to the rest of the people in the world. Like
Hmm.
we should be we should be trying to get back to what we were. We had a lot less sensitivity and polarization going on between the average person.
Yeah. No, 100%, man. That's kind of sad to hear as well. But I wanna, because we're gonna wrap up soon. I need to get some sleep. But I wanna just maybe we'll say at 1:30, so we have 13 minutes to go. Um, yeah, man. I wanted to. There was something in my mind. I wanted. Yeah. Also, real quick, Canny, just so you know, there's a few clips that I've been gathering from this podcast. So I put it in the Abs Clips channel in my Discord server. I don't know if you've seen that channel. It's at the very top.
I see them now.
Yeah, so just like if you want to like check them out after the stream and tell me which ones you think that you think are cool, and yeah, hopefully this is to everyone else, even you, Canny, and everyone in the chat. If you guys happen to clip things, I'll show you how to clip things if you don't know yet, Canny. But yeah, anyone else, if there's any like good clips, any good segments of this podcast you think were like educational or helpful, make sure you clip it, man, and then post it in my Discord in the Abs Clips channel. So then it's easier for us to have like a whole, segment of like, easy clips that we can make highlights from and maybe even do future content.
I think another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write a note as to where we were at on the life of Can.
Yeah,
Um,
because we need to finish that story, man.
and we'll pick up like where the Ultimate Fighter season 1 finale kind of was, because it was kind of like a point in my life where some things had changed.
Yeah, man.
Um,
100%.
Gave
Actually,
me a direction.
that's a great idea. If you could do that, yeah, maybe like write down some notes. So then I'll do the same, and then maybe also send it to me on Discord,
Yeah, I
etc.
normally have a notepad laying around at all times for those reasons.
Yeah, because I think that'd be good
Uh,
also for us, like when we're talking to the chat, so they look forward to the next. We'll be like, we're gonna continue with this one. But yeah, before we lock off this stream, man, I want to say shout out to everyone in the chat. We have about 11 minutes to go. If anyone's got any final questions, like I've got time, Liam, Shady. If anyone in the chat has any questions for me or Canny, then let us know. I think we should do maybe the final 15 minutes of the podcast. We'll just like have like open questions for everyone. I think we should start doing, or we should think about doing like little segments, and we'll figure it out, because I think that'd be a good idea. And even yeah, just things like that, man. And yeah, man. So what else was there? I think I had a few things in my head that I wanted to. Um, yeah, Canny, are you? So you have the Twitch stream open on your phone?
no, I have the Twitch open on my laptop.
Okay, so I want to show you actually, because this will be very useful. You do you know how to clip things on Twitch?
I see the clip Alt X, the bottom right.
Yeah, that's it. So if you clip it at any time, if you just click it now, just as a test, so I can show you. What happens is when you click that, it automatically saves the last 30 seconds of what just happened, or 30 to 60 seconds. It makes an instant clip. So then once you click it, my channel now has a clip saved. So when you go to clips on my channel, it's gonna save that one, and you can also rename it to like, oh, funny life story of Canny. And then when I go back on my stream after the stream, I can click on the clips of my channel, and it's gonna show everything that people have clipped, if that makes sense.
Gotcha.
So it's a very powerful tool. It's a very good way to like streamers, even like fans of the channel, they can go and just clips and be like, oh, look, these are the cool things that happened. Because not always people don't always want to just sit through a whole 10-hour, 3-hour podcast. And yeah, man. So make sure like if you ever find like good parts that we have, any funny parts or anything, yeah, make sure you clip things, because then it'll be easy for us to like make some highlights of it, have it saved, have everything. It'll be really good, man. So yeah. Also to the chat as well, if you guys could do that as well, man, that'd be cool, man. We need more stuff like that. So we already have some nice little clips. I'm gonna send it to you on private message on Discord, just so you can see what it looks like. Let me send that to Canny now. We have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got 5 clips of the podcast so far. We have a few little cool ones, and then yeah, man, if you click on my Twitch channel, you go on clips yourself. You can, and then there's a drop down that says the top clips from 24 hours ago. You can see all the clips as well, so that's pretty cool.
Right on, right on.
So yeah, man, we have about 8 minutes to go. Is there anything you wanna talk about? Anything you wanna maybe ask me, or anything you wanna touch on before we end?
What do you got going on this week? What's up with you?
Oh yeah, that's a great question, man. So I don't know if you know, but some people know, man. I was on a really good roll, man. I was like training a lot, not missing any gym days. I was eating well, man. I was getting in one of the best shapes of my life, man. I was boxing. I was steady working at this place, helping my friend. He's got like a little kind of like restaurant thing. I was helping him like manage it. I was doing, and also, with my music thing, man, I feel like I was making, I dropped my third official song, Paris, out now on all platforms. We just hit 10K streams on Spotify. So I was on a really good like spiral. But then, like 2 to 3 weeks ago, I got ill, man. I got like a few issues with my joints, and I won't get too much into it, but I have a few problems with like my. I think a little bit. I talked to you about it. Um, just some like health and joint issues and stuff with my feet and my ankles and things like that. And I wasn't able to fucking continue. I had to take a little break from everything I was doing, literally everything, like financially, the working side, the training side, even the music side, man. There's a lot of things that literally physically, have been stopping me. So now, for the past week or two, I've been slowing down, and it's been really fucking depressing, man. So yeah, that's kind of like where I'm at right now, man.
Well, hopefully, what'll happen out of this is it'll give you a moment to reflect on your week and get uh, get yourself recentered and realigned,
Mm-hmm.
and keep
Yeah,
you
man.
working.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. It's like, when you have like the will. I'm sure you know what I mean, and like you've gone through stuff like this. But when like your mind, you're ready, you can, you want to do something, but you're like with no fault of your own, but you're physically impaired from doing it. Like you physically can't. Like even if I said, yo, like my boxing group, yo, let's do some boxing, or let's spar. Like I want to do it, but I physically can't do it, and that's just like the worst feeling, man. When you really want to do something, and then you feel physically held back. Shit's
Yeah,
just
I'm dealing with side effects of rheumatoid arthritis and nerve damage, and
yeah.
like the biggest thing I need to do is I need to really get underneath this car that we can see off to my side here
Mm,
and
yeah,
finish it, because like
yeah.
this has been a long time work in progress. It's something that's been around for a long time, but
Mm.
it requires me to crawl more or less on my shoulders underneath of it,
Oh
and
yeah,
that's
yeah,
one of the most difficult, but I need to do it. So I'm
yeah.
hoping that starting this week, I'm going to start doing that. And then
I
I'm
feel you.
also looking at around the first of the year, I think um, I'm going to start doing some sort of push-up stuff like what I was telling you guys to do, like do
Yeah,
a, a push-up video every day and do my
yeah.
max rep every day
You should.
and record the progress and just
What you
do a
said.
channel where it's nothing but that over the
Yeah,
whole course of the year.
yeah, man. Actually, you gave me. I remember you texted it maybe in the Discord chat, but you gave me a really good thing, like an idea where you said something along those lines of doing the push-ups, recording it. Because as soon as you said that, man, you gave me like motivation, man. Like the next day, I went gym with my friend. I was like, bro, record me, pull out the camera, and I started doing the push-ups. I was like, yo, this is the Discord 50 push-up challenge. I had it on video, and I was gonna like I didn't do it, but I was meant to post it in the boxing and fitness channel on my Discord. So then not only do we talk about it, but we show people videos, and I think that's something I'll probably do. I just need to get back
Yeah,
consistent on it.
I think that what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do it as a max rep every day, however many I can do, straight through, and
Yeah,
then probably throw it up on like Twitter, IG, and
yeah,
Discord or whatever. Share links over to Discord,
yeah, man.
YouTube Shorts, all that, and then do it just as a separate channel, and it'll be the only thing I post, but I post it every day
Yeah, no, 100%, man. You should.
because I gotta get this shoulder back right. Like I'm
Same.
wearing a nice shirt, so you can't tell, but this whole right side of my neck is a divot.
Yeah, sorry to hear that, man. But stay healthy, man. Drink that water. It helps with the joints, and I think that's underrated. A lot of people don't drink enough, man. Try to stay healthy.
Is it true that you're Twitch's most hydrated streamer?
Yeah, man. I'm known as the most hydrated streamer on Twitch, man. I always say every time I take a sip of that H2O, look, this is a 2 liter bottle, man. It means everyone's got to take a sip at the same time. So yeah, man. Yeah. So we're about to close up. We got about 3 minutes. I wanna. Yeah, man. Is if anyone's got any questions for me or for me or Kenny, any questions before we go, man. I think this would be a good time as well. If you want to share any links, Kenny, if you want to, where can they find you? Do you want to put any links in the Twitch chat? You want me to shout? You want to shout anything out, man? Anything they should like look forward
Got
to?
anything to shout out currently? I got a few things that are in the works, but we'll get those up when they matter more.
Yeah, no, 100%, man. Yeah, and I think, yeah, like for this week, I think it's a good. I think we should maybe write this down, but like, as we should have like a structure. Like for the outro, the last 15 minutes, we get questions from people, and we talk about. Because I think me and you are big on this like motivation thing, where you are. I think it was a good question when you told me like, "What's your plans for this week?" I think we should do stuff like that. Then people also. So it's a thing where people grow. We talk about things that we're doing. So yeah, my plans for this week is just me trying to get back together mentally, get back on eating healthy, drinking my water, getting back to the gym tomorrow morning, man. First thing, back to the gym, and I'm gonna also got a few new things that I'm gonna talk about in the next podcast when it comes to my next step, like career wise, and it's very exciting as well, man. So I will talk to you guys and Kenny as well about that. Also, yeah, man. So what about you, Kenny? Real quick, what is your plans for this week?
Oh, this week I'm gonna be putting together a lot of Christmas presents, and I've got to link up with one of my friends to get him and his kids together. So I got them some pretty nice stuff. Always a bigger giver than receiver.
Uh huh.
Um, Several cars to fix, lots of stuff like that to do.
Especially the one behind you,
Uh,
man. Hopefully
I
we
got a
see it on
dental
the.
appointment.
Yeah, hopefully we see that on the next podcast. We see that one cleared, man. Because I know you want to get that sorted, man.
This thing needs a lot more than a little bit of work. Like it's what you can't tell is that's actually bare metal on the whole rear quarter panel.
What
But
car is that? What is that? Like it looks like maybe Range or something.
that is a '87 Camaro. It's a T-top car.
Oh, okay,
See if I
okay.
can see if I can turn you guys towards it a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. Show us, man. If you guys don't already know, Kenny is a mechanic. How long you been a mechanic for? How many years?
I have been a mechanic now professionally for oh god, about 25 years.
25 years, man. So listen, guys, if you need any help with your cars, you know who to go to, man. So make sure you guys follow on Twitch because
So
Kenny
one
can
A
help.
Auto, they know everything. Just
Well, do you want to shout? You can shout your thing as well. I don't know if you want to, like, where they can, if people
I'm
need help.
uh I'm the motivated mechanic on YouTube. There's not a whole lot posted up there yet, but I got a lot of film I need to get editing done and stuff.
Yeah.
I got a lot to do and a lot to learn. That's a thing I struggle with.
Mm-mm.
I was actually even considering going to a social media school to learn about it.
Yeah, why not, man? You can never stop learning, man. You know?
I am a tree who is not growing in forks anymore. I'm growing inwards. And in tree
Nah.
structure, that's a bad thing.
Yeah, nah, man. Hopefully, I want you to actually do it and excel with it, man, because I think that's a good idea. But anyway, with that being said, man, we are out of time. I just want to quickly say shout out to everyone on Twitch. This is our first episode of this podcast. For now, we don't really have a name, but my initial idea is ask a veteran in life anything, featuring Canny and me, Abs, ABOODY, whatever you want to call me. So yeah, man, it's been amazing, man. Thank you to everyone here once again. If you're not already following, make sure you guys follow. Make sure you guys subscribe. I'm gonna quickly put my link, Paris, my first song, Paris, out now on all platforms. Make sure you guys go stream my song, man. And yeah, man, thank you, Kenny. I appreciate you, man. Is there anything you quickly want to say before we end? Anything towards like you want to say to the people or anything like
Well,
that?
thanks for having me and letting me infect all of your ears.
Mm-hmm. Oh, were you gonna say something like to infect our ears? I thought you were gonna say like a message, like a motivational. Maybe we
Oh,
should actually add. Yeah, maybe
you
we should
want
add that.
something
Like
motivational?
yeah, maybe we should put like the message of the week. Like, what is your message of the week, man? I know you're good with that. Like for the people, like what is something you could take
Man,
us?
I don't have my notepad near me. That's what I was looking for. Where
Um,
in the hell?
you can get it.
I have a notepad somewhere, but I've had to move everything for Christmas.
Ah,
I will make sure to post one up on Discord.
on the Discord. All right, yeah, man. So if you guys want to see the message of the week, make sure you join my Discord server, man. We'll get it up there in the general
Yep.
chat. Yeah. All right, man. Thank you, Kenny, and we'll see you. Hopefully, we'll talk about this, but I think Sunday, man. Next, we'll do it every Sunday, man. If it's good with you.
Alrighty, hope you all stay warm.
All right.
Later.
Take care, bro. See you, man. Shout. Yeah, man. And that was that, man. That was the first, hopefully, of many. My first podcast episode with Candy, bro. Wise man, bro. Wise man. A lot of experience in life. So, yeah, man. Shout out to the boy. Shout out to the boy, man. Got like a few things on Discord to check out. Bars and lyrics. I got bars and lyrics. Ain't got time for a critic. Bars and lyrics. Yeah. I got bars and lyrics. Ain't got time for a critic. Yeah, bars and lyrics. Saving my bars and lyrics. Saving my bars and lyrics. Ain't got time for a critic. Nah, critic. Saving my bars and lyrics. Stacking up digits. Yeah. Yo, should we do a quick I don't know, should we do a quick freestyle session? I don't know, man. Yeah. Podcast season. I need a reason. Podcast season. Yeah, podcast season. I need a reason. To keep on killing these beats like a demon. I need a reason to keep on killing these beats like a demon. Podcast season. I need a reason to keep on killing these beats like a demon. And I'm just scheming. Podcast season. Yeah, I feel like I'm playing RS. I feel like I'm thieving. Feel like I'm thieving. Yeah, bitch, I feel like I'm thieving. Bitch, feel like I'm thieving. I got a friend called Steven. Yeah, I got a friend called Steven. I feel like a demon, I'm scheming. I got a friend called Steven. And I got a friend called Steven. Steven. I'ma just kill these beats. Any given even. Podcast season. Yo, these beats, yo, chat. Yo, give me some challenge words to freestyle with. Yo, chat, give me some challenge words. Give me like 3 topics or 3 words, and I'm gonna freestyle. With those words. Yeah, we keep flowing. I'm at the gym and I keep on rowing. We keep flowing, we keep growing, we keep glowing. I'm at the gym and I keep on rowing. We keep flowing, we keep going, we keep flowing, we keep going. Okay. I keep on flowing. I'm on these beats and I'm flowing. Cars towing, Cars showing, cars towing. Yeah, you know I keep on rowing. I'm at the gym and I keep on rowing. I'm feeling. I feel like a stoic. I know it. I feel like a stoic. Yeah, I feel like a stoic. I know it. I feel like a stoic. I know it. Yeah, feel like a stoic. I know it. Yeah, I feel like a stoic. I know it. Know it. I feel like a stoic. I feel like a poet. Fuck it, I slide on a beat and I feel like a poet. Really just feel like a poet. Yeah, slide on a beat, I really just feel like a poet. Slide on a beat, I really just feel like a poet. Slide on a beat, I really just feel like a poet. I feel like a poet. I feel like a poet. I feel like a poet. I'm in the place with my cape and I know it. I'm feeling heroic. Pull up to the place with a cape and I'm feeling heroic. Pull up to the place with a cape and I'm feeling heroic. Pull up to the place with a cape and I'm feeling heroic. Pull up to the place with a cape and I'm feeling heroic. Yeah. Pull up to the place with a cake. Yo, G-Man45, thanks for the follow, bro. Appreciate that, appreciate that, appreciate that. Love, 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 love. Love. Yeah, how they want to talk about trust. How they want to talk about love. How they want to talk about love. How they want to talk about trust. Success is a must. Success is a must. Hey, success is a must. Ooh. Success is a must. Yeah. Success is a must. Yeah. Yeah, I'm obsessed with a touch. Success is a must. Obsessed with a touch. Success is a must. Sex is just lust. Sex is just lust. Yeah, I hop on the beat like a game, like I'm playing that Rust. Rust. Slide on the beat like a game, like I'm playing that Rust. Success is a must, in God we trust. I'm on my J's and I'm feeling like Huss. I'm on my J's and I'm feeling like Huss. I'm on my J's and I'm feeling like Huss. I'm on my J's and I'm feeling like Huss.